Praise the Most High. We're here. We're live. Yep. Let's go. All right, Maestro, let's do it. You know what? I'm going to come with a little something different tonight. We'll come with a little something, right? Because they think they can lie to us. So, a higher power is probably... There it is. Yeah. A higher power is more fitting for this broadcast this evening. A higher power. It starts off with what? Let's go. They think.
You can lie to me. I see it's written all over your face. Scientific intricity you created out in space.
Oh yeah. Come on.
You can do what you wanna do.
Half our bones, we know you're listening.
Think how you wanna think now.
You can't stop us, the truth is right there.
Lose, we refuse. I'm gonna go down without a fight. You think I can't see?
See what you're doing to me, yo.
Cannot defeat me.
They cannot defeat the children of Israel.
My hand on your heel, I'm pulling through. A step ahead of you.
You think that I can't see?
You know.
A higher power's with me. Judah lives matter. You think you're controlling me? You thought that I could slay your slave. What?
No strings on me.
No.
Controlling us with your frequencies.
Making it so hard to get away. Away.
You can do what you wanna do.
They tap our phones, we know you're listening.
Think how you wanna think now.
But you can't stop us, the truth is rising.
Lose, we refuse.
Whoa.
I'm gonna go down.
Come on, hit the like button, come on.
You think I
Can't see. Hey.
what you're doing to me? You cannot defeat me.
My hand on your heel, I'm pulling through.
A
Step ahead of
you. You think that I can't see?
Do you know a higher power with me? That's right, y'all.
Electrical current so current, leaving you paralyzed, and this truth is so amplified while your ego's reducing size. We a menace to your society, taking your kingdom violently. Bring a paddle to the battle, we can be in the valley.
They can't stop the truth, folks.
I run the race until I finish. A higher power giving me the ability. Chosen people with no other one mystery. We won't stop.
I can't see. Hey,
What you doing to me, yo?
not defeat me. My hand on your heel, I'm pulling through.
We got you, Esau.
Ahead of you.
You think that I can't see?
You know.
A higher power's with me. Oh, a higher power's with me. Oh, a higher power's with me. Yeah, brother Maestro. Maestro on the production, the rap. That brother is multi-talented. Michael Batiste is his name. And thank you, Micah Allah, for all the gifts you bestowed upon the church. with your musical genius, brother. You know we love you. And I just wanted to start it off a little different, upbeat tonight, because boy, oh boy, do we have something to go into. And you know what I'm going to do for one moment, I'm going to put my headphones to the side, okay? This way I don't have to, because sometimes so insulated, I end up speaking well beyond, the decibel I should be speaking with the headphones on, not hearing myself, right? But here we go. A long-awaited broadcast, and I have, as you can see, hey, I have elders. I got lawyer on standby. I have the conference thing all set up. I got my bullet points together, my talking points together, because guess what? Many people were trying to figure out, what is this Chinese connection? When I say Chinese connection, it seems as of now, now, if some of you have witnessed this, I would like for you to call into the conference call today. But it seems that the media now have segued from George Floyd to Asian hate. Now, if there's something going on in the communities where Asian people are afraid to go outside, Asian people are being robbed, their businesses are being shut down, pocketbooks are being stolen, they're being shot by black people and being shot by black cops. If there's anything out there on the ground that can give any type of relevance to this story, we're open to hear it this evening. Why? Because no group of people anywhere should be the blunt of racism or hatred. Me being a black man, okay, I'm gonna let you know, I would stand on the side of anyone who was oppressed or being treated like second-class citizens, understanding how that feels. Right? But it seems as if we're getting inundated with this for a specific purpose. What's the Bible prophetic understanding of now the Asians are the all to end all when it comes to media? It seemed as if now at one time you had to have women through Women Liberal have a place as far as their voice were concerned. Then they had it where it was the gay scenario where it seems as if commercials, the corporate structure had to have a representation of them. And guess what? Hey, if people want to be represented, this is their country, this is their corporations. They have the say on what they should represent. I have no dog in that race. But yes, it seems like the media wanted to more so show that more so. And then after that, it seems it was about racial injustice against black men, as if the only thing we have to fear out there when we walk out the door are police. Everything, including our image, it has been damaged purposely by the same machine. And I'm going to go into that today. Now, on the media wheel now, it's Asian everything. Asian, Asia, as if they need political protection. Now, I'm not going to say they don't. But if you're going to put it out on the table, be right up front. Who do they need political protection from? Who are the people that are giving Asian people all of this trouble? Because I don't see it. And if it's happening, I'm opening to understand it. If it's happening outside the media, we're going to open it today so everyone can talk about it, because we need to stop Asian hate. But guess what? Could this be something else? I need y'all to check out this sign real quick. And like I said, we don't have any problem against any race. But usually when the media machines start pumping something to where it's a particular type of group, it usually comes with an orchestrated plan. Right? And what they're not saying is, okay, if now we got to have Asian representation and everything, right? And that's okay if they do, because everyone should be represented. But if they have to have representation and everything, who will the Asians be replacing? If they have to have a representation, that means for them to get something, someone have to lose in order for them to get that representation. So who will lose in this whole thing of promoting Asian people as if they're victims? And if they are, I don't know. Let's find out about it. Call in. If you're Asian, I would like to hear, what are you suffering so bad in comparison to blacks all around the world in America? Okay? Now I'm not going to keep it there, because I'm going to break down today. You know, we give you the biblical perspectives on exactly what's going on. And you see the title, Red Dawn Against the Children of Israel. Now, for those of you who don't know what that title signifies or what exactly it means, I need you all to look on your screen, okay? Okay, we're going to give you a little background history on that title, Red Dawn. Red Dawn, right? This is what Red Dawn represents. Here's the history of the movie Red Dawn. Guess right, that's right. And who starred in Red Dawn? Patrick Swayze, the same guy who got famous through the movie Ghost. Patrick Swayze, one of the icons of when I was coming up in film, starred in this movie. Red Dawn is a 1984 American action film directed by John Milius with a screenplay by Kevin Reynolds. It stars Patrick Swayze, on and on and on. But the blunt of it is, the film depicts a United States that has been invaded, and I quote unquote, invaded by the Soviet Union and its Cuban, Nicaraguan allies. However, the onset of World War III is in the background and not fully elaborated. Now, usually movies at this time depicts the political enemy, domestic or international, as the bad guy in any particular movie, to sway the sentiments of its citizens against a particular enemy. At this time, it was about the Cold War, Russia, Ronald Reagan's, Gorbachev, the Cold War. So that Red Dawn was Russia in particular, led through the political stage, the political components of communism. Now, do you know that white people weren't the original people of Russia? So what were they prophetically putting out there? You're going to find out tonight, because there was an updated Red Dawn. There was an updated Red Dawn redone in 2012. Red Dawn is a 2012 American action film by Dan Bradley, right? Now it says, while in post-production, the invading army and antagonist were changed from Chinese to North Korean. In order to maintain access to the Chinese box office, though the film was still not released in China. So now, Red Dawn first was about Russians, but then it parlayed into an invasion before World War III as the Chinese people as the key, that's right, antagonist, or they would have the more prominent role in toppling the United States before World War III. Right? Red Dawn. Right? So even China in of itself didn't allow this movie that portrayed them as the main character before World War III within their own country. That's right. In order for them to show this, for them to have showed this movie in China, they had to change the characters. That's right, the bad guy, to North Korea. So obviously, for some reason, China has been politically corrected from have been politically, protected from a PR standpoint so that they can operate without getting any public pushback. But we all know China has always been a major player on the international stage. That's right. They've always been. But they've been hid on purpose in the background for the time we're living in now. For the time we're living in now. All the time Hollywood had us believing that there would be a red dawn, an army of Asians coming into the United States to actually take it over. Now, if they could, they would. Okay? But the idea of a communist country such as China taking over America was put to the side a long time ago when it came to physical interaction, when one of the presidents of China said we can't invade America. There would be a gun behind every blade of grass. There's no way we can beat them this way. But in order for America to be broken down, right, an invasion would be needed by the same prophetic nation nonetheless. So how could they invade America, without being recognized, like the movie Red Dawn was actually purporting? How? Well, suppose I put on medical gear. Suppose I get economically tied to the country. Suppose I take a segment of my people and have them work for slave labor to take all of the finances out of the slave class, which were predominantly black people at the time, holding all those industry jobs to build wealth. Suppose we come in a different way. We'll take the work from them, right? We'll tie our tentacles economically to America, where America cannot sustain without our workforce. See? And then on top of that, we'll set up mega stores all around the United States where all the products are coming directly from our people and move them out of purchasing one amongst another. That's right, a stealth army unseen. And guess what? The Bible identifies exactly this. But it would come a time when Esau was revealed, when he could no longer hide that he's the son of Satan and that he's pushing Satan's agenda, that Esau would turn over to his friend China, the Mongols, and say, listen, we can no longer be the face of this. You're benefiting from the destruction of the children of Israel all over the earth, just like us, and we're taking all the heat. We're taking all the heat. You're going to have to come behind the red veil. Esau, Rome was like, we're no longer taking this heat. You got to come in here and show your face with us against these people. It's Bible prophecy, and you're going to find out exactly who China is tonight. So the whole promotion now, listen to me clearly now. The whole inundation of media now is to do what? Is to put our people back on our heels after being oppressed, assaulted, and all that. On top of that, there's a medical imposition against us. So while they're switching the narrative so they can tie Asian hate with black hate. See? And by doing so, through this multicultural type of situation, we don't realize, that's right, the Asian insurrection. But God identified the children of the dragon, the people that worship the dragon. It's not just Esau, folks. They're in tandem against the children of Israel throughout the four corners of the earth. And when we begin to reveal Esau and started talking about getting on code, operating amongst ourselves, who was going to be affected more so than anything? The people who took all of the jobs in the first place. Listen to what we are about to break down this evening, because how dare you put up a sign to say, protect our elders. Protect our elders. When our elders right now all over the United States due to this campaign is being put down like dogs. The gall, the unmitigated gall of them, have signs as if someone is actually doing. Now, guess what? I'm not going to say that someone, let me tell you, I've never met an Asian person I've disrespected. Because why? I respect my elders regardless of ethnicity. You should respect elders regardless of their racial, what race they belong to. So what is this campaign out there, and they trying to align us to march with them, or politicians to align ourselves? You know what they're doing? They're preparing for the next constituencies in America, the next big group after they euthanize and destroy our people in the communities. You want to know what regentrification really is? You're looking at it. Red Dawn. Red Dawn. Hit that like button, because we have a lot to talk about. There's a lot of protected groups. I'm going to say, let me just use America just as the example, even though I know this applies across the board internationally, wherever our people are scattered. It's the same thing. But for the sake of time, so I don't go into every political war that's against our people in the world, I'm going to use America as the case study, as the examples, but we can apply this across the board every place. In America in of itself, right? They've been telling us a long time about an invasion. But we thought it was going to be a foreign army with guns. But it's impossible, because in America is a standing army in of itself that cannot be defeated, because everyone in America have the right to bear arms. So the same time they talking about Asian hate and all this other stuff, is a story we've been inundated with how bad guns are. And it's an inanimate object that cannot harm anything. It's people that are bad. A person who's crazy can kill you with a spoon. If somebody really want to kill you, they can. What you think they do in jail? They can make a weapon if they want to kill you. It's an inanimate object. Guns never killed anyone, folks. But the same time they're moving this, they're moving what? That's right. They're moving a campaign to disarm the population, because they're preparing for when our people finally wake up after being corralled and moved into a place where we can no longer move and protect ourselves. They're preparing for a time where we just go crazy because they forced us. They forced our hand to the degree where we'll need to fight back. And they know they're going to keep pushing us and pushing us and pushing us. Eventually, we're going to explode. And they're setting the political stage for that. That's all this is. So automatically, they'll hit us and hide their hands. And when our people respond, they'll say Asian hate, Asian hate. They'll have the cameras waiting, knowing that they will only be recording the reaction. They're setting the stage just like it is. They do this for every protected group that they put out there, except one. Can you guess that one? And it's a shame who that one is. I'm going to bring you in a second, Elder Lawyer. So just using America as the examples, let's go over some of the protected groups here in the United States. And I'm going to break this down according to the Bible, exactly what's going on with China. What's going on with Asians. And let me tell you, I'm going to tell you right now, growing up, North Philadelphia, I can say it right out. I grew up with Asian friends. So I have no problem with Asians. Okay, I remember going down to the corner store, and if I didn't have no money or whatever the case is, I can go in there and grab something. They'd be like, oh, don't worry about it. Sing me a song, right? I would sing a song and, get me some now and laters, some lemon heads, some Boston baked beans, and I would sing a song. And the Chinese family that owned the store up the street loved me. Okay. I've met nice Chinese people, and I've met indignant, disrespectful Chinese people. As the same as I've met nice black people, and I've met indignant, disrespectful black people. So there's no monolithic scenario when it comes to, I'm gonna hate all people because they white people or Asian people. That perspective is only through stupid people. Okay? So I'm putting it out there so that no one can try to claim that this is some type of setting the stage for something to happen to Asian people. Asian people are more protected in the black community than black men. Let me say it again. Asian people are protected within the black community more than black men and black boys. Okay, and I can say that for sure. Right? Oh, y'all remember those Boston baked beans? Actually, they don't make them like they used to, right? So let's go over some of the protected classes in the United States, if we may. Women, starting with white women, protected class. Now, that was a protected class that was used politically for certain strategies. If there was a black to-do traditional good family that was making their way up, on the wealth ladder, they would do it all the time. They would send a white girl in who would do certain things, take stuff for free and all that, and just take it and leave, so that now we'll respond and say, well, hold up, you have to pay for that. Or they would use a white woman in certain instances to come in who was from witch covens, really. These were witch covens they were sending those white women from. All white women weren't doing this. They would come directly from witch covens, cult covens, and they're everywhere in the United States. Look it up. Witch coven. These are these weirdos that be walking around with black finger polish, all this type of makeup with black on. Let me tell you, these people will eat your children, these women. Well, these women didn't just start existing in our time. These goth type weird punk rock white women. They were operating back then under witch covens. And these were the girls that would dress up as if they were nice and come into the store and give black merchants hell, only to provoke a scenario where the sheriff and deputy would come in and say, you know what? leave town or we're going to kill your family. So they would use the protected class. White women were the first protected class that we can put on note or record in the United States, who would hit and hide their hands and cry victim to a degree where Black Wall Street and all these things began to happen because it started with someone coming in, provoking a scenario that we needed to respond. So they would take that same model and say, well, hold up. We can use this politically every time. It don't have to be a white woman. Let's now use feminism and include the black woman who's behind the black man. And we'll instill her with those same scenarios to be used as a political destroyer within the community against the man. Now, I always have to say, listen, not all, I have to say that, but all, they use that same particular modus operandi, right? So then they use that there. Then this political stuff works. If we cry victim, we can do it whatever we want to do. And when people respond, we'll say it's hate. It's hate when people respond, right? So then they went from white woman, then they try to use the black women in our communities, but our sisters are wising up. They're waking up. I'll tell you this right now. There's a turn going on when sisters are getting back behind their men. And sisters, you know what? Kudos to you. You're starting to realize that they're trying to align you with everyone else. But at the end of the day, these other people take the bag. And you're left destitute with nothing, with our families destroyed after being used politically. A lot of us, thank you, sisters, for waking up to that. Okay, a lot of our sisters are waking up and like, hold up. All of this child support and all this old stuff, guess what? They starting to realize, hold up. Our children are losing big time because we're not selling our own issues. So, you know, when they seen our sisters started to wake up, they started to segue now to make a new protected class, gay people. Now, if someone is doing something against a gay person, guess what? You're wrong. You shouldn't harm any person. Every person should be protected under what? Under the laws of the land, regardless of their sexual choices. That's their choice. I'm going to say that right now. I'm going to put that out there. Okay? Because what you do is between you and God. And guess what? If any sin is against the Most High without repentance, you will burn in hell. And that's whether someone is sinning one way or the other. And I grew up, folks, in the Christian church. In the Christian church, guess what? The pastor child was gay. And guess what? We were all on a choir together and all that. We grew up knowing gay people, but they knew where the line was. If you wasn't going that way, they knew to stay away. They knew they would operate with people who were like them. And you know what? We existed and cared for each other. Okay. All in the community, we knew the gay people and we were able to coexist before this political crap. But if they stepped over the line, just like if a man stepped over the line, when it comes to another man, you can expect what? A response. That had nothing to do with whether or not you gay or not. If a straight man step over the line and violate me as a man in any way that he think I deem a violation, that leads to what? A physical altercation. So it doesn't matter if someone gay or not. If you cross the line, you can almost, expect what? An altercation. So it had nothing to do with whether or not someone was gay. If there was a fight between a brother and another man who so happened to be gay. It was how they politically frame things now. You can have sometimes you don't even know a cat is gay, but he disrespect you and you're fighting. What, it's a hate crime because now I'm fighting a guy or there was an altercation in the hood where fights happen? You understand? So now it's altercation that happened. You don't even know someone's sexual persuasions. But they politicized it so that they can align another group in the community against a particular group of people. Gays became a protected class. Come on, y'all, hit those likes. Help us out real quick. Help us out because we're about to go in. Then the Jewish people, after a few movies came out, like Schindler's List and others, and we started hearing people spray painting swastikas in community, high community places amongst the Jewish people. And next thing you know, there's a term that was created called anti-Semitism, where Jewish people became a protected class. Right? And now it's the Asian people. Hey, brothers and sisters, I need y'all to put out there what particular one group of people who don't have any political protection in the United States. Who are they? You know who they are? Men who are men. You notice I didn't just say black man. Men who stand as men have no political protection. And what does that tell you in of itself? That states in of itself that all of these protected groups are against what? The man. The man in of itself. Be it if it's the white man who's 100% man and want freedom, or a black man. Or a black man who stands for what? Justice. The white man is the enemy who want freedom because freedom is getting in the way of what they want to do to us, believe it or not, what they want to do to topple this whole thing. But really, if you really want to hone down on who's between the crosshairs, who don't have any political protection at all, and guess what? It was orchestrated this way. It's the black man. It's the black man. Now I'm going to bring in Elder Lawyer for a second, but now let me go down memory lane so that you'll understand why they feel that Asians during this Red Dawn in America needs protection. It started off early 2020 where this disease came out of nowhere from Wuhan, China. From Wuhan, China. There was disease where no one understood where it came from. Wuhan, and Fauci got on the news, and Bill Gates, and there was all this hysteria. Oh my God, there's a virus, and it got out of the laboratory. We don't know if it got out of the laboratory. People are falling in the streets. Everybody run for your lives. There's a crazy disease, as they claim, started in Wuhan, China. I'm going to show you why they saying stop Asian hate. Because I'm not blaming Asians for this. This is a political thing to get in front of something. Because I told you all in the beginning when it happened, there's no event or disaster at the end of it that doesn't end with a campaign that's destroying our people in number. That's the bait and switch. I told you in early March 2020 that this was a bait and switch. So that people can say, well, hey, it's not a black thing. It started in China. The same way HIV and AIDS started with the gay community, and then it ended up being a black problem. You notice that? It starts one way where it has nothing to do with us because we're traditional people. All that didn't have nothing to do with, we weren't dealing with those lifestyles. The majority of people who were suffering during the time of HIV and AIDS were white gay men. That wasn't a black problem. It wasn't a black woman's problem. But then it became one. Why? Because that was the targeted group from the beginning. See? When it comes to warfare, if you meet someone head on, you get resistance. But if you start another place and go around the back way, see? It always starts, Wuhan, oh my God. Well, we may have to wear masks for 2 weeks, you know. Just as we don't know whether or not it's going to be there. That's what we was hearing. Then we were hearing, it totally transitioned from the mask to, you know what, maybe we need a vaccine, but it takes about 5 years for a vaccine. It may be too far down the line. You never know, but we're still looking into it. We hope that we can actually do this because we only said the mask would be here for 2 weeks. But if we get a vaccine, maybe we can move away the mask and people can go back outside. And then it transitioned all the way to where we are now, where the only people they talking about need to get this stuff are who? So they're afraid black people are going to be waking up and saying, well, hold up. I thought this was about Wuhan, China. You told me this was how it started in Asia and end up in Harlem. What? And then it's concentrated only amongst our people who've been suffering these same diseases before 2020. When we've been suffering the same comorbidities, diabetes and all that before 2020. And now you're telling me these are the people that are affected because they have these comorbidities that comes with what? Our people being targeted from the beginning. But yet you're going to come to me with some Asian hate? We're going to talk tonight. We're going to go back to Wuhan, China. Follow me. Let's go back to Wuhan. Red Dawn against the children of Israel is the title. Let's go to Wuhan. Fair use. Fair use. Africans in China targeted over coronavirus. And this was dated back, what? Early last year. During the beginning of the coronavirus scare. Yeah. Los Angeles Times. Los Angeles Times, fair use. Fair use, Los Angeles Times, in China. In China, it says, Africans living in the southern China.
Everybody is walking on the road.
Let's go back. Africans living in the southern Chinese city of Guangzhou suffered mass evictions.
Everybody
Forced
is
testing
on the
and
road.
quarantines last
In
week
this
as
midnight,
authorities targeted
They are
foreigners,
still chasing us.
especially black people with anti-coronas measures. Dozens of Africans became homeless, harassed by police
see,
as they slept. Nigerians now discussing an
They
evacuation
cannot
flight
give
from
us
China.
hotel. They cannot provide a place we can stay. They are just following us.
They were being
You see, they're just
harassed
following
in
us. They
China.
don't want us to
Fair
stay one
use.
place.
Fair use. Los Angeles Times, which means what, folks? It was no mystery that no sooner as this thing happened in China, our people were being targeted for something we had nothing to do with.
Here's what else does not help China's cause.
We were being targeted. Now, I'm going to bring in the East Indian connection this coming Sabbath. I said I was going to do it last week. I'm bringing it this coming Sabbath. But, folks, we found out the Hamites that went into certain parts of India that set up Brahmin temples and certain temples in China outside of the Hindus. And they're the same families that are being used in the health care, that's right, system, the World International Medical Systems. They're the ones that are being used and are shipped into the United States to become the overseers over this whole campaign that's orchestrated in this earth right now. But I'll deal with that the Sabbath. Let's stay on the Chinese connection right now. Now, it went from that, elder lawyer. Now I need you all to check this out. Look at your screen. Now, I thought it was Wuhan, China, It had nothing to do with our people. Right? Now I need y'all to look at this. This is CNN, fair use, because I'm only going to play the audio. CNN with, you got it, what's his name? Don Lemon. Don Lemon and Stephen A. Smith. Don Lemon and Stephen A. Smith. Now, like I told y'all, it started off where it was about something that came up in Wuhan, China that had nothing to do with our people. But now, all of the stories on CNN has targeted our people. Listen to this, if we may. Listen to this. Fair use.
Spoken. Says his own vaccination status is not a big deal.
Anything that I do off the floor is
let's go back.
Predicated to my family, for the majority.
Really, really important segment right here. Please sit down. Watch it. Basketball superstar LeBron James won't say whether he has received or will receive the coronavirus vaccine. James, outspoken on social issues like racial justice and voting rights, very outspoken, says his own vaccination status is not a big deal.
Anything that I do off the floor is predicated to my family, for the majority. For 99.9% of that. So, it's about the health and safety of my family. And that's what it came down to. Me being available to my teammates on the floors, me taking care of my body.
Do you mind me asking if you're confirming that you did get the vaccine?
Now, mind you, folks, there's a such thing as doctor-patient privilege. When it comes to something medical, how are you supposed to put that out publicly? So LeBron James said, well, listen, what me and my family do medically is our business. They got two black people to get up and state in the media who doesn't represent our people at all. Don Lemon or Stephen A. Smith does not represent any of our people. Let me make that clear. They get up there to press him on why, if he's going to stand against political injustice with cops killing black people, why can't he stand to push something in our communities with this campaign? I don't see any other race of people being pressured like this. Do you?
It's not a big deal.
But to many, it is a very big deal, including for my next guest, Stephen A. Smith, host of ESPN's First Take and host and executive producer of Stephen A.'s World on ESPN+. Stephen A., thank you.
Yeah.
Man,
thank you.
I love your outspokenness. Thank you for doing this. This bothers you. You said that LeBron can't have it both ways, that he either wants to be out front and center, bringing a voice to issues, or he doesn't. Tell me why this is so important to you.
Well, I think that, obviously, you had me on your show a few months ago when I decided to take the vaccine. I had my reservations. There's a plethora of people within the African-American community that have had our reservations about taking the vaccine. But ultimately, when you go into ICUs and what have you, and you see things that have been so profoundly detrimental to the African-American.
And let me put it out there. Let me go here real quick. Shout out to brother Kwame Brown. Shout out to brother Kwame Brown. Everyone has an uncle like that. I grew up with an uncle like that. And though he may be rude in speech, like the Bible states, but not in knowledge. So if you can bear some of the profanity, whatever the stuff, I know when there's a paradigm change in the ether, folks. Because if we don't start speaking up and standing out, black men are starting to realize us just sitting back not saying anything only leads to what? Them pushing us further into nothingness. So now it's time to push back. When they came with the feminist movement, we were like, well, okay, I'm a man. I ain't worried about that stuff. Go ahead, feel it what you want to feel. But now, when they came with the gay thing, it was like, well, hold up now. Y'all trying to make it seem like all men are trying to be this way now. It's getting too far. When they started going, and then when they start, now we realizing, you know what? It's never going to stop. It's time to push back. It's time to push back because these gatekeepers aren't stopping. They won't relent. They won't give us any space to think on how to get our people out of this condition. So shout out to Kwame Brown. Though he may be rude in speech, but not in knowledge. And that brother need to be supported, and all of his efforts when it comes to what he's trying to do for the children and exposing these gatekeepers, guess what? He should be backed 100%. Shout out Kwame Brown. You my brother. Judah lives matter. Let's go.
Community, you take a stand and you take a position. I'm not of the position that LeBron James normally under normal circumstances.
And I'm going to show you my daddy's cooking. He's going to show you his mama cooking. And I'm going to show you my daddy's cooking tonight.
Should feel any obligation whatsoever to divulge whether or not he's taken the vaccine. But considering the multitude of issues that he's been willing to tackle, considering what provoked him to do so because of concerns for his community, his people, those are his words. These are the kind of things that he has said time and time and time again. Then why would you not speak on the issue of being vaccinated or not? That's what I'm talking about. Of course.
Now, folks, if you're for it, you can talk about it. You notice that? If you're for it, is that a form of censorship, folks? Where there's really no objectivity, no objective opinion on something as important as this? If this is something our people need, there need to be a dialogue equally on either side. How is it on YouTube you can speak for the vaccine, but not objective when it comes to concerns? So Stephen A. Smith is a black man that's allowed to talk about vaccines, folks, and not be canceled. I'm just putting that out there.
Of course, he's a citizen. He's entitled to his privacy. We all know that. Mm-hmm. And LeBron James is the.
So if he says LeBron is entitled to his privacy and we all know that, the conversation should be over.
The ultimate role model. He's an incredible athlete, an incredible humanitarian as far as I'm concerned, one of the best people we've ever seen in the world of sports. But on this particular issue, his unwillingness to divulge where he stands.
And I'm going to tell you, man, allegedly, I don't know what's up, but I tell you, back in the day when it came to the tap dancing, you had cats who can give Massa a serious spit shine. I'm just putting that out there. Sitting there ham bone with the rag. He's sitting there hitting it, spitting on it. Yeah, Massa, I'm going to shine it up for you. Allegedly.
And why he feels whatever it is that he feels, I'm going to say that it's flagrantly inconsistent with all the positions that he has taken and the reasons he has used for taking those positions.
Well, Stephen A. also, and if you look at, if LeBron James sneezes, the fans want to know, does he have a cold, right? If he twists an ankle, right. If he has a sore shoulder, or, if he does whatever. And so his health is of importance and interest to the legions of fans around the world.
The fans don't care about a medical procedure with LeBron James. And we support his right to privacy the same way you want us to support a woman's right to choose and not have to tell people when she got an abortion. Okay. Yeah. I'm not playing it, so it's good. I'm just using the audio. Right? I need y'all to think about that. A woman don't have to tell you that she had an abortion. That's a medical procedure that's private. It's her right, her body, her choice. Right? I need y'all to think about this. That's why I'm only playing the audio, because I'm allowed to do that under fair use. I'm not going to use this content, but it's still fair use. And I'm only doing this for what? Educational purposes. A woman says her right, her body, and don't have to tell you. Now, guess what? What's more important? What should we know about? The last baby who was just killed, who could have been the cure for cancer out of our community? Should we be more concerned about women doing that with their body and their choice than whether or not a man who didn't say he didn't take something, but is saying that if he did or didn't, that's between him and his family? What should be more important? What should we be talking about right now when it comes to medical procedures? If you want to compare, when should we, listen to this, when should we be able to state publicly our medical issues? Should we be able to state it publicly when it's malpractice? When there's an experimental drug that's being pushed on our children in the neighborhoods? Should they be public with that? No, you'll say they have the right to, they have what? Medical privilege. That's doctor-patient privilege. But all of a sudden, you want the rules change when it comes to our people. I don't see them doing this full court press of this shot or anything on Asian people. And they told us it came from Wuhan. That's the point I want to highlight, folks. They talking about all this hate stuff. I don't see them asking Jackie Chan and his family what choice they made.
World, but also Stephen A., and I'm sure you've seen this. I was in the barbershop the other day. It's been a while, like 2 weeks, which is a long time. And these people are giving me all of these stories about, I have a cousin who works for this and someone who works for a doctor. And they're giving me all of this false information. And I'm sitting there in the chair going, you guys must be kidding me. And I think, the reasons that they're giving for not taking the vaccine, look, you do it, you're a private citizen, you do what you want. But the information is false. There are black doctors and scientists who worked on vaccine strategy and developing the vaccine. This is not.
Hey, folks, you know what I'm going into now? You know why I segued here, folks? Because what does this has to do with the original narrative from Wuhan, China? You see how the stories are. We have allowed the media to bring us here without examining how we got here. Now, Stephen A. Smith gets on CNN and berates and talk down on LeBron James for a choice he's making for him and his family. Who the Hades is Stephen A. Smith? Is he anyone that we should listen to? Absolutely not. He's useless. He's useless and he's an attack dog. Every time it seems like something is going on with our people, they pull this guy out to attack our people. And it's time that we stand up because these are the taskmasters Pharaoh was using against us in Egypt. Amongst our own people, there were taskmasters. You're looking at them right here. I have one more, and then we're going to open it up. Fair use. Fair use. These are the cast characters of the Breakfast Club, linked directly with mainstream media. So they're all tied in together. See, as you can see, allegedly, they're all tied in together. How do Dr. Oz get access to the Breakfast Club? Because what they think is these people are gatekeepers for our community. That if these people who have nothing to do with the Most High and understand the true agenda for our people, if these people agree with Master's plan, that they think the rest of us are so stupid, we're going to follow whatever they say on the Breakfast Club. That's how little they think of us black people, Israelites, black men, black women. That they believe if they can convince these three people who have nothing to do with us, really, when it comes to what's right for our community. What have these three have done for our community? Absolutely nothing. But they believe we're so stupid that if they put these guys up from a nationally syndicated show, that they'll be used to politically do what? Urge us into doing what massa wants us to do, which is their final solution. So Charlemagne, and I'm not going to call him a god because that's sacrilege. If he want to be called Charlemagne, he can do that, okay? But he sat down on Dr. Oz's couch, and a matter of fact, I have to give him kudos for some of his answers. Listen to what he had to say.
We're back talking about the race for herd immunity from COVID-19 and the lingering...
Hold up. It went from Wuhan, China to the race for herd immunity. The last I checked, a herd denotes animals. A herd denotes animals. We're on a race for herd immunity. What you mean herd immunity, dude? I'm a person. Now, if you want to lump yourself up with the herd, you can do what you want to do.
We're back talking about the race for herd immunity from COVID-19 and the lingering vaccine hesitancy across the country. Here now to offer his insights is my good friend and host of the...
Now, they say, now listen, they're here to talk about the jab and the hesitancy across the country, making you believe that they're not targeting or they're not really aimlessly moving this piece to talk about black people across the country. That's not race specific, is it?
We're back talking about the race for herd immunity from COVID-19 and the lingering vaccine hesitancy across the country. Here now to offer his insights is my good friend and host of The Breakfast Club, Charlemagne the God.
What's up, Doc?
How are you? We got lots to talk about. We've been debating over this issue for several months. You're playing a leadership role in the black community, but I think everyone's listening to you. So let's start off with LeBron James, someone else who's got a big voice. Recently, he declined to publicly reveal whether he was going to get the vaccine or not, saying it was a private decision. Your reaction to his comments?
I didn't have a problem with that. You know, I think that we live in this era where we think public figures have to make everything public. And I think that LeBron understands the power of his voice, meaning that if he, does feel a way about the vaccine or he does have some, distrust towards the vaccine, he's not going to just put it out there and say it, because then that would probably make other people not want to make their own decision. They'll be like, well, LeBron's not taking it, so I'm not going to take it either. So for him to say, it's going to be a private decision between me and my family, I thought that was the responsible thing to do. If you have some, distrust towards the vaccine.
So I know a lot of the NBA players probably feel as he does, and many have been silent for this reason. But let me go through some numbers. Carnegie Mellon's Facebook survey found that 8% of Asian Americans are hesitant to get the vaccine. For white and Hispanic people, that number was 20%. And for African Americans, the number was almost 30%. So Charlemagne, help everyone understand the mistrust felt by some in the black community, whether LeBron James or anybody else, about getting this vaccine.
Well, I can't speak for the whole black community because, black people aren't monolithic, but, it definitely is a distrust when it comes to, just the systemic racism in the medical system. People will point to the Tuskegee experiment. They'll point to, the Henrietta Lacks case. And, for me, I've had people from the Biden administration, I've had people from, Governor Cuomo's team reach out to me and ask me to be on these task force to help lead people to get the vaccine, lead black people to get the vaccine. And I always say, man, I've never seen y'all in a rush to remedy anything else in the black community.
He said, I've never seen you all in a rush, Cuomo and others, these politicians. I don't see them publicly asking their own community and forcing this on them. And Charlemagne said, well, I don't see you racing to heal the other pending issues in our community. Let me let it play so you can hear it from his own words.
Getting this vaccine.
Well, I can't speak for the whole black community because, black people aren't monolithic, but, it definitely is a distrust when it comes to, just the systemic racism in the medical system. People will point to the Tuskegee experiment. They'll point to, the Henrietta Lacks case. And, for me, I've had people from the Biden administration, I've had people from, Governor Cuomo's team reach out to me and ask me to be on these task force to help lead people to get the vaccine, lead black people to get the vaccine. And I always say, man, I've never seen y'all in a rush to remedy anything else in the black community. You know, when it comes to poverty, when it comes to police brutality, when it comes to all of these things that we know the black community could use in order to thrive, I don't ever see y'all in a rush with anything to remedy those issues. But with this vaccine, it's just like, we got to get it to black people, and we got to get it to black people now. It's just like, nah, we got hundreds and hundreds of years of why we should not trust this government and all of these other things going on with us, and no help is coming. But this, you want us to just take? Nah, it's kind of, eh.
Well, you brought up Tuskegee. I actually had the foundation of all the survivors of Tuskegee, and they've all gotten vaccinated. And I asked them why they were able to make that decision. They said, well, Tuskegee was about not giving us something, not giving our parents.
Now, you notice this guy who's a strategic talker, this Wizard of Oz or Dr. Oz, whoever named allegedly. If y'all believe his mom named him, hey, look who we have. Oh, we'll name him Oz. But anyway, he skipped over all the talking points and went straight to, he met some people from Tuskegee, dismissing all of what should have been a discussion when Charlemagne said, I don't see you rushing to heal anything else in our communities, but yet we are to believe that you're concerned about our well-being concerning this particular issue. He goes straight to Tuskegee.
Hundreds and hundreds of years of why we should not trust this government and all of these other things going on with us, and no help is coming. But this, you want us to just take? Nah, it's kind of, eh.
Well, you brought up Tuskegee. I actually had the foundation of all the survivors of Tuskegee, and they've all gotten vaccinated. And I asked them why they were able to make that decision. They said, well, Tuskegee was about not giving us something, not giving our parents, our fathers, antibiotics when they were dying of syphilis. And this is about getting something that might prevent us.
Oh, but you ignoring that the fact that the syphilis was actually being administered
from dying. And you got to start somewhere.
Fair use.
Oh, absolutely. I'm not an anti-vaxxer, by the way. I'm just, you asked me why people have that distrust.
I do think the vaccine hesitancy extends across different demographic groups. It's not just black Americans who have an issue with it. Let's give some more numbers. Marist polling, pretty reliable.
So I'm glad I have to give Charlemagne some credit on that, right? I have to give him credit on that he came forth and said, well, listen, don't act like you're concerned about our people when it comes to this particular campaign. When you have never been this fervent to help us in any other area, we've been screaming as a people for help. Thank you, but no thank you. And let me say this too. I don't know about this word anti-vax, or I don't know where it came from. So I can't say that I am or am not. I don't even know what an anti-vaxxer is. I'm pro-God. I'm pro-Christ. I'm pro the Bible. So anything outside of that, I'm anti, including, and yes, right, I'm against the anti-Christ system. So if you want to talk about anti and all these little terms y'all creating up in these editor rooms where the media is, well, we need to give them a term. What name we can give to soil their, to make it so that people know, so we can label people. I don't know what an anti-vaxxer is, a pro-vaxxer is. I'm pro-Bible, I'm pro-God, and I'm pro-Christ. And I'm anti anything that's Satan. That's me. All right. Now, Elder Lawyer, are you with me?
Yes, sir.
Now, bringing this back into the talking points here, there's many protected classes, and they would make us believe that there's a concern within the United States concerning Asians now as a protected class, while the same time ignoring that they told us that we had to wear masks and go through all this stuff in the United States because something broke out in China. At the same time it broke out, they weren't too scared over there because they had enough time to begin to attack black people, Asians, China, in China. So if they were so scared of the virus coming from black people, why were you selling and coming in close proximity to them to throw them out of their houses. You understand? So it seems like they were giving us really a window into who would be the people predominantly affected and harmed through this whole campaign. And I'm talking about before it even came to America. They were attacking Africans in China. So the question is, who needed protection in China? I don't see no black people in our neighborhoods dragging Chinese people out of their stores, throwing them out of their apartments, doing all the things I seen them doing to our people at a time where we should have been coming together to fight against a quote unquote global pandemic. Why did they use this as a tool for hate then? And has that changed? They use this Wuhan, China thing as an excuse now to go in and start putting us out of apartments and all that, claiming that we're the disease. But yet they're in America, in our communities, looking for black people to lock arms with them as if they're the victim in the United States. So I'm going to go into, folks, why they strategically are putting out this Asian PR campaign now. I'm going to go there, right? Elder Lawyer, before I go into the scriptures concerning this, because I want to, what is your take on this Asian hate thing outright? What is your take on that?
Well, I think you put it plainly earlier. When you look at the American pie, apparently there's only so many ways that it can be cut.
Yeah.
So in order for, I think looking back this past year, a lot of things happened politically, not just with the agenda, if you're going to call it that, or the disease as we called it, but many facets of the society we saw from the news media. We've seen with the presidential campaign. We've seen a lot of just outright. It's like they made it evident, the biasness when it comes to whatever agenda is being pushed. And I think one thing that was evident in this past campaign, everything conjoined, is, as you mentioned earlier, black people are to some degree waking up to a lot of the political games and tricks. And they didn't necessarily dive in. And even as we saw those past few videos in respect to LeBron James and Charlemagne, usually when it comes to any other types of campaigns, it shows that these would be the go-to guys that they can go to and depend on to push and toe the company line. But it just hasn't been that way on everything. I'm not saying I'm not saying that they haven't, pushed some agendas, but specifically with the disease or the campaign agenda, they haven't been totally on board. And that's just a sign of where black people have been, or it's been more evident this past year, that we're not just jumping behind and jumping on the bandwagons. So now the question is, how do we deal with this going forward, where we have to deal with this class of people that usually we can dangle a carrot, they'll hop, they'll jump, they'll skip, for whatever purpose we desire for them to hop, jump, or skip. Now, it's very difficult for us to use them for these political agendas. So the only thing that we can do, the only solution is eventually to replace them as a class in the United States. And I think that's what's going on overall with this Asian campaign, or Stop Asian Hate. They're being propelled into a position in the country where they no longer have to depend on black people to move the needle when it comes to a presidential campaign, when it comes to a medical campaign, or what have you. So that's been my take on this whole thing.
And our brothers and sisters have to wake up more so and understand. Unless you know this Bible and understand its narrative, you'll never really understand. You'll be able to pick out parts of it, but you'll never be able to quantify, folks. I'm going to tell you the true narrative to what's going on. When you read the Bible's narrative, it gives you a broader scope and understanding. Because the Bible said that China would be here at this time, present, right before us. But the majority of people in the Bible don't even know who China is prophetically. But you're going to find out tonight. Folks, and another thing, and the reason why you have to know about the Bible, because history is replete. It repeats itself. And you have to know when you're under what we call, what they deem class warfare. You need to look that up when it comes to class warfare. Anytime you hear of immigration at any time in a country's history, it was to do what? To replace the working class to progress future agendas. Understand that, folks. When you hear about immigration or people coming in, the first thing you have to ask, well, who are they replacing? And why are they replacing them? The who, what, when, and why. Shout out to Kwame Brown. Why are they replacing our people? I need y'all to think about this, folks. They do the same thing over and over again. In the early 30s, they opened up the borders and brought in gypsies, Italians. 30s, 40s, and 50s, they brought in the Italian class, and they became what? The strong arm to do what? To stop black wealth, to stop us from ever growing economically. They always bring in a buffer class to control our people. That's what that was all about. And sometimes what they'll do, they just won't use white people. They'll use our own people. They'll use immigrants who don't have anything. I mean, black people who are suffering in other countries, who are refugees and don't have anything over there. And they'll put them in school and make them something that we should be admiring over here. When they bring our people over here, and now because they put on a white jacket, you forget that was a little refugee child that had, that was in a war-torn country. They'll do that, and because it looked like you, they'll be like, well, yeah, we was a part of the deal too. We seen exactly how it was put together, and guess what? You can trust us because we look like you.
Mm-hmm.
So they'll use immigration. They'll use people who look like us, but are really them. That are really them. They'll use the Asian, whoever. They use whoever they want to use for the political agendas of destroying God's people. Elder Lawyer.
Yes, sir.
The Bible says at the very end that Asia would come on the scene. I need you to get real quick for me the book of Ezekiel.
Yes, sir.
Ezekiel 39. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. While I'm getting this, you struck something. I saw something very similar. I'm not sure if you remember. I think it was earlier this year or late last year.
Yeah.
There was a news report coming out of Chicago where black female nurses were coming out and saying that they're taking a wait and see approach when it comes to the Jim Jones juice. And usually, as you mentioned earlier, they would be able to use our sisters for certain campaigns, or maybe not earlier, maybe in later broadcasts.
Yeah.
But it seemed like when they saw that they were not able to use these black female nurses to push this campaign as they would normally do,
yeah,
they brought in a Nigerian doctor, and he gave his 2 cents on the news broadcast saying that we got to do better than this. We got to get the Jim Jones juice. We're at risk. So it just shows that when they can't get us here in the home front to push certain agendas, they'll go, as you mentioned, they'll bring in someone overseas that looks like us, but really doesn't think for us or think like us in that regard.
Exactly. And my whole deal to tell him, all due respect to you, dude. Right? I read about the taskmasters during the Egyptian time, and you could take your behind back to Nigeria with your white coat.
Right.
Okay. Okay, you can go ahead back there because we don't want to hear what you have to say. Okay? You don't represent us. We're the children of the Most High. And guess what? We've suffered in this country. We've built this country to what it is. Our people. And they'll bring you in as a buffer to try to do what? To do what? To try to really try to level off our people who are fighting for justice, who built the country. So when the immigrants come over, they supposed to get behind us. They're not supposed to be in front of us pushing agendas. They should find the black people who are here, who built this country, and get behind them. Fall in order. And see, and that's why I put here, Judah lives matter. And that's what it's about. Christ is Judah. He's saying, well, listen, we got to put this whole thing in priority. And the same way, guess what? They all are being what? The light is being shined on all of these satanic usurpers. We talk about these other races of people. There's nothing worse than our people who would sell out their own race for coin, for a bag. So these Nigerians and these other cats, you come over here and guess what? In order for you to come here, it's like you had to make an oath that you would usurp and kill and destroy us, your own people. And to some degree, it's a darn shame. You didn't protect us when we were over in Africa before we got here. And now you'll come over here and usurp and be used by the system to attack us after we survived being over here without your help. And I don't like to call certain things like that out. I don't. But that's blatant disrespect. Don't act like you were for us when we were there and a lot of our own people sold us here. It wasn't no white man coming to grab us. You believe roots? These were all political transactions. Human resources being sold by our own people. And these are the same type of demons that they'll get to come over and put in a white coat to tell us what we need to do here when we survive for your behind to get here. So it's time that we're not just talking about Asians. We're talking about putting all of this in order, including our people who claim that they're here to represent us. When you come to the United States, you find a black man who built this and you get behind him. Or you're worse than the enemy. And it's time that we, like I said, black men's voice has been silent for a long time concerning the campaigns that they've been doing to eradicate us. And it's time, if we don't stand, they're killing us anyway, so we might as well stand up and use our voice and identify the usurpers. And I'm saying it straight out. There's no way I can go into Nigeria, into other countries and all that and not respect the chief or the people that have done what? Made those communities. I must fall in line if I come over there. I got to find out, know who controls the community, who's the chiefs, who's the kings, who the princes. Because you know what? That's honor. That's respect. That's how we roll. But y'all come over here and y'all think y'all better than us. And that's wrong. You got to understand the power of ambassadorship. When you're coming from another country, you are an ambassador. You are an ambassador. You are connected with us. And you come over here and you think you can get a paycheck to lead us to our own death and think you're better than us when we know where you come from is nothing like what we prepared for you and worked for you so that your behind can get here. It's nothing like over there like it is for what we work for. And it's time we start calling it out. It's time we start calling it out, folks. Because guess what? The Asians and others are able to do it because they see what we do to each other. That's why they're able to do it. And we no longer are we going to sit back and allow these political agendas that really lead to us getting attacked more. No longer when we see it, it's getting pointed out immediately. Anything else, Elder Lawyer?
No, sir. That's it. I have Ezekiel 39.
So people wonder, okay, what's going on here? And shout out to Kwame Brown, my brother. Shout out to you. let's go real quick. A lot of you don't even know prophetically who China is prophetically according to the Bible, and how now all of a sudden, right before World War III, there's an Asian presence where they're getting political asylum, political protection to come in and usurp and destroy us. Presence in Africa, killed us in Wuhan. Here it is, not kill us in Wuhan, but they started putting us out over there. Then they came over here, right? Now it's stop Asian hate. Stop when there's no one in the black community doing anything against Asian people. A matter of fact, there was one brother who stood up, Elder Lawyer, who was tired of Asians disrespecting black women and said, listen, we're shutting this whole thing down. And guess what? It was black women and other people fighting him because they wanted their nails done.
Yeah, I remember that.
So there's no black people that's against Asians. Oh, you know what I mean? We've always supported Asian merchandise and Asian businesses and all that. But they're setting the stage to call them victims. And they usually do this in a point of war where now they're about to be proactive in attacking us. And I'm not talking about Asians. I'm talking about they're setting, folks, they're setting the stage where it's okay to go against black people. But they have to cry victim first. So that when they hit, they can hide their hands and say, look, hey. And that's why I mentioned Red Dawn coming in when it was talking about an Asian invasion. Folks, because right now, all over the United States, after the COVID thing that was done, there's a lot of areas who are now getting their own police representation. We told y'all a long time ago that there was a campaign about defund the police that didn't come from black people. It didn't come from black people. And defund the police. Like they care about a black man being killed. You give me a break. Always using triggered ignorant of our people. They're triggered and ignorant. Defund the cops. They did that so that just like the Jewish people have their own police force, Asians and other ethnicities will have their own police forces. They showed you right out. They can do what they want to do because they are a protected class. You can't go downtown and find a whole area for black people, even though we support and uphold their businesses, but you can find Chinatown. Well, guess what, folks? No community can thrive without a military base of defense. Think about it again. Listen, hope that don't go over your head. Obviously, if they can connect with making our goods, financially attaching themselves to the United States, they can also fund their own police force within our communities. And I'm putting it out there before the news told you it's going to happen. This is Red Dawn against the children of Israel, because guess what? The Asian representation you're going to see with more police, they're going to replace the white police and you're going to see more Asians, folks.
Mm-hmm.
Look up. This is what they're doing. They're transitioning so that you can't claim it's white supremacy anymore. It's Magog. Don't buy into the campaigns. And the first thing they try to do when they're trying to push something, they pander to our community. So they start off with a movie showing a black girl falling in love with an Asian guy in the community. This is what they do. They always use our sisters. And our sisters got to start saying, no more. They always use us because there's a Hollywood role that if you don't take, someone else will take. And guess what? That movie was trash and it bombed. And I thank the Most High for it. The same way they trying to push this white woman being the hero and the sergeant and she's Rambo over the top female style. And none of these movies or series ever make it because we know it's not reality. When I see a woman that try to be in charge and try to be the white Columbo, but she's a woman, I shut it off. I don't want to hear none of that crap because that's not real life. You take away men in authority, the earth is finished. So I'm not looking at any series or anything that's showing a woman in authority. It's off. So the same way I'm not accepting that, I'm not accepting Hong Si Kwong dunking 5 foot and believe that, okay, he's dunking a 5-foot basketball and believe he can play basketball now because they lowered the hoops. I'm not going for it. I'm not going for it, folks. And neither should you. This is a PR campaign so that they can get in close enough to be the replacement class. Red Dawn against our people is here. It's here. So prophetically according to the Bible, and like I said, I don't have no problem with Asian people. I grew up with Asian friends. Now, of course, some of them I know that are Israelites. Now that I look at the research, Cambodians, Vietnamese, Philippines, all of them are from the lost tribes of the 10 tribes of Israel. All the working poor classes of Asians, they're our people that were from the northern tribes. And I got proof of that. And guess what? It's even written in your Jewish encyclopedia that they know Vietnam and all these people are from the lost sheep of Israel, from the Asian side. So that chart we give is just showing this side of the hemisphere. On the other side, we're scattered everywhere. So I always had Asian connections with Asians who were suffering the same things we suffered in the hood. There was never a black Asian problem, and don't let the media have you believe that. There have never been a black Asian problem. So let's find out prophetically China's role. Elder Lawyer, I need you to go to Ezekiel 39.
Yes, sir. Also, Elder Gabar let me know that he's ready to come in. So,
that's what's up. That's what's up. So I'm going to read this and I'm going to bring in Elder Gabar. I'm going to open up the calls in 1 second. Do me a favor, Ramar, make sure you get the line ready now so that when they call, we're good to go and I can snap right into it, okay? My man, Elder Gabar. Praise the Most High. Let's get Ezekiel 39 real quick. And before we go there, Elder Lawyer, there you go. Here's the new campaign. It's not George Floyd anymore because they segueing from George Floyd. The only time they talk about black men or they care about black men are campaigns, when it's campaigns to fund the Democratic Party during the election. That's it. They did it. They know it works. It happens. It happened during the Obama administration. Anytime they're ready to run, they're going to talk about a black guy and cops as if cops are the only problems that black men has. Okay. Now all of a sudden you care about the only problem that black men have are cops. They think we're that stupid. They be like, well, we gave y'all, y'all time. We stood up. George Floyd, man. George Floyd. Power George Floyd. When that funded the Democratic machine. That money didn't go to us. So now here we go. Stop Asian hate. So who do they claim are the perpetrators of Asian hate? I'm still trying to figure out. They haven't named the perpetrators yet. The people that are hating Asians. We need that side. Because it seems as if they're trying to really ferment some type of thing out there where black people are secretly plotting to fight Asian people and to do things against Asian people. Just put it out there, folks. Nation against nation. Just put it out there that you're looking to do what? foster another inner city enemy against the black man. Just put it out there, because we see it. Protect our elders. Are you kidding me? Talking about protect our elders, and our elders are getting in these old folks' homes, in these retirement homes and all that, are getting put down like dogs. This is straight deflection, folks. And some people might ask, where do they get these people? Folks, where do Hollywood get their actors? It's nothing to go on Skid Row and without 50, 60 bucks and give somebody, yo, put on a pair of pants and a hat and hold up this sign and I'll give you lunch. It ain't nothing to get these people out there. Red Dawn. Red Dawn. Red Dawn against the children of Israel. For those who don't know, who missed it earlier, I showed earlier so that and make sure y'all hit that like button. That Red Dawn was an original movie starred by Patrick Swayze. He was known for the role in the movie Ghost with Whoopi Goldberg. Red Dawn started with Patrick Swayze, right? In 1984. The film depicts a United States that has been invaded by the Soviet Union and its Cuban and Nicaraguan allies. However, the onset of World War III is in the background. So back then in 83 and 84 was the Cold War. They were talking about Russia, but we know the original Russians weren't white people. I'm going to show you who they were. Then the movie was recast and reshot, remade in 2012, where Red Dawn now is China, 2012. Red Dawn is a 2012 American action film directed by Dan Bradley. And it says here, while in post-production, the invading army and antagonist were changed from Chinese to North Korean. See, China didn't want to get negative press. They're trying to hide themselves prophetically concerning their agreement with the dragon to come against us. There you go. In order to maintain access to Chinese box office, they change the antagonist to North Koreans, when really the narrative was written for China. Red Dawn. But we thought it was about America, that it would be a Red Dawn, China coming in to fight America. You don't have to fight a country that's financially dependent on you. If you control the resources and the products and the finances of the country, you already own the country. There's no need to physically take down America. So Red Dawn had nothing to do with an army of Chinese army coming against America. It had everything to do with the prophecy saying that this nation, Magog, would come against our people, black people, the children of Israel. So they're using the Asian hate thing as a cover. It's a cover, folks. It's a cover. When that thing happened in Wuhan, China, it was the internationalists, it was the superpower saying, it's time for you, Magog, to show your face. You've benefited off of the children of Israel just like us, and we're not the only face of this. White people aren't going to take the blame for what all of us are in bed for. The oppression and the destruction of the children of Israel. Let's read Ezekiel 39. Elder Lawyer, read it.
Yes, sir. Ezekiel 39, verse 1. Therefore, thou son of man, prophesy against Gog, and say, Thus saith the Lord God, Behold, I am against thee, O Gog, the chief prince of Meshach and Tubal, and I will turn thee back and leave thee but the sixth part of thee, and will cause thee to...
So he says, I will put hook in your jaws. Read it.
Therefore, thou son of man, prophesy against Gog, and say, Thus saith the Lord God, Behold, I am against thee, O Gog, the chief prince of Meshach and Tubal, and I will turn thee back, and leave but the sixth part of thee, and will cause thee to come up from the north parts, and will bring thee upon the mountains of Israel.
Now hold that. Hold that. Now let's go to Ezekiel 38 and 1.
Yes, sir. Ezekiel 38, verse 1. And the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Gog, the land of Magog, the chief prince of Meshach and Tubal, and prophesy against him.
And prophesy against him. Now, folks, I'm going to do this live. Now, I usually do this in the academy, but I got to show y'all this live, academy style. You in Ezekiel 38, Elder Lawyer, right?
Yes, sir.
What I'm going to do, because we need to stop this Asian hate, because China really want us to identify who they are according to the Bible. So we're going to stop the Asian hate and give you the truth. Right? What I'm going to do real quick, Elder Lawyer. Okay, Elder Lawyer is Gabar, I'm going to bring you in 1 second. Right? What I'm going to do, academy style. Looky what we got here. Told y'all you better get in that academy. I tell you, it's off the hinges. We're going to show the parallel between ancient Babylonian customs and traditions and Christianity this coming Sunday. Christianity, the hidden Babylonian religion, is our lesson. Modern day Christianity is what? You got it. The ancient Babylonian traditions and practices is what we're going into to show people that this Christianity today has nothing to do with God, Christ, or the Bible. Now, here it is. Let's do it. Academy style, folks, y'all getting this firsthand from what? The Holy Bible from the ancient Eastern text. The ancient Eastern text, one of the older Bibles of the Old Testament in existence, before the King James actually. Oh yeah, they thought they could hide themselves. Elder Lawyer, I'm about to send you something. I'm taking a picture of the page, exactly what Elder Lawyer is reading, and I'm taking a picture of it, and I'm sending it to you, Elder Lawyer. All right, I just sent it to Elder Lawyer. Right? Let's do it now. Hold on. Hold on. Let me do it. All right. And I'm going to put it up here so they can all see it, Elder Lawyer. There we go. Looky here. Praise the Most High. It's the Eastern text. All right. Check this. Look at your screen, brothers and sisters. Look at your screen. Let's get it. 1 second. Look at your screen. All right. I took a picture and it's in the, yep. Because, you know what? So y'all can't think that we're making this up, that we've identified them as the last nation that would come against our people when Christ stated nation against nation. And that would be the last nation that would go against us before before World War III. That's right. Look at your screen. Elder lawyer, read it again. Ezekiel 38. And let's start at the first verse. Come on.
Yes, sir. Ezekiel chapter 38, verse 1.
I just took the picture of it. Read.
Ezekiel 38, verse 1. And the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Gog, the land of Magog, the chief prince of Meshach and Tubal, and prophesy against him.
You read Ezekiel 38 at 1, right?
Yes, sir. Ezekiel
Read.
38, verse 1.
Come on.
And the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Gog, the land of Magog, the chief prince of Meshach and Tubal, and prophesy against him.
Come on.
And say, Thus saith the Lord God, Behold, I am against thee, O Gog, the chief prince of Meshach and Tubal, and I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws.
I will turn thee back and put hooks in your jaws. And look what it says in Ezekiel now. I'm moving around. I'm sorry. I want to make sure y'all can see it. In the ancient Eastern text, folks, it reads, you see it? In the Bible, it told us, the Eastern text, that Gog and Magog, the original sons of Japheth, reads, And the word of the Lord came to me, saying, Son of man, set your face against China and against the land of the Mongolian, the chief prince of Meshach and Tubal, and prophesy against them and say, Thus says the Lord God, Behold, I am against you, O China, the chief prince of Meshach and Tubal. And I will gather your people together and put a bridle on your jaws, and I will bring you forth out of your country, both you and all your army, horses, horsemen, and all of them clothed in armor, a group of hosts and spears and shields, and all of them handling swords, Persians, Ethiopians, Libyans, with them all of them with shields and helmets, so that they can all go to the valley of Jehoshaphat and be destroyed. See, when the Most High says, I would put hooks in your jaws and bring you back, that's what? Bringing China into the last war to be judged. That's why China have to show their face now. They've been operating under the surface with the white man getting all the negative press. But guess what? It's like, nah. Psalms 83 tells us right out. Psalms 83 tells us that all the nations conspired together with Esau as the head. And for years, China been financially grandizing themselves off of our people, but yet the only thing we've been pointing to is white supremacy. So the Most High said, no, we bringing you from behind the curtain like the Wizard of Oz, so that they'll see that you are aligned with Esau against my people. And this is why, that's right, the public rollout for China was to have this big event that would come from China. See? They've been trying to hide themselves for a long time, but in the Eastern text, our forefathers, we knew the original Japhetic people were the Mongolians for the longest. That's right. Russia was originally owned and ran by, you got it, Chinese people until the wars during the time of Alexander the Greek and his generals. And they begin at that time to move the Asians out of Greece and certain areas of Russia and Eastern Europe to move them back into China during those wars. But before that, China owned all that. China owned Cyprus. China owned Greece. China owned Asia Minor, that's called Europe. But they were pushed back during the wars against Alexander and his generals. Now, I got a whole lesson on China coming in the academy. So you got to get in there, because America would have you believe it's all about Russia. No, it's talking about the original inhabitants of Russia, who are the Chinese, who are now being moved to the main stage to align themselves with Esau to come against our people in the community. That's what this campaign is about. That's why they said, well, listen, white people are going to sit on the side, China. We're going to let you lead the whole thing. Europe is not going to lead this, so they can't say the white man is doing this. China, it's your turn. And the Most High says, I'm going to put hooks in your jaws and turn you back. It's all going to be about Chinese movies, Chinese. And you notice last year, the year before last, right before the pandemic, they came up with this big elaborate play from China that was going international, that was in the United States and going from place to place. One of the biggest shows of China in 2019 was an Asian production. Did you notice that? China, folks, there have been a changing of arms politically. Magog is running Babylon. Red Dawn is here, and they're going to finish. The agreement is they got to finish what Esau started here against us. So hey, they're getting in front of it now. They're getting in front of it now. Stop Asian hate when no one's doing nothing to them at all. Because what are they going to do under Biden? All the laws that should protect black men, because that's what it was about George Floyd. They're going to shape legislation now, folks. They're going to shape legislation, and all the laws to protect the protected class are going to go to Asians. They're going to move all the black people out of seats in the major cities, and there you're going to see a lot of Asians and all that take position as politicians in these areas. Keep this video up. And guess what? That's why I got it recording right now. I got it recording. AC, make sure after this video is done, after this class is done tonight, you rip this video and put it on Patreon and put it on the hard drive so that people will know we told them according to God what was about to happen before it happened. Before it happened. There's going to be a high attack against the patriarchy first. White men as well as black men, because white strong heterosexual men and black strong heterosexual men, because what? The white man would represent the freedom they're trying to hold here, and the black man would represent the justice that we are eventually standing up for. And China is saying, listen, don't worry about it. We're going to handle them both. But guess what? I'm going to tell you how it ends, though, because I'm going into a whole lesson on China. The Most High say you reap what you sow. After Babylon is judged, the Most High tell you in the second Esdras, he coming after Asia. He's coming after that area. And what's going to happen is what y'all wanted to do to us in the communities, it's going to be a breakout all around. It's going to end China. It's going to be a real breakout, the real plagues. And it's going to come and it's going to hit Asia. And it was prophesied in 2nd Esdras 16. So not this orchestrated thing you see right now. A real one is coming. And for what they're doing to us to try to get rid of us and to destroy us in our communities with this campaign that's led by Magog, the Most High is going to send a real one there. I already got the contents. I already got the lesson. I got all the breakdowns. I got the books. I have it, everything. I'm going to tell you, they cannot hide themselves no more. Matter of fact, for the last month or so, I've been singularly focused on the Most High giving me the information on China and who they are prophetically. Folks, none of you have to worry about Russia. Don't even think about Russia. Russia is a part of the 10 horns. They're part of Rome. It's Chinatown. And guess what? With this Bible, Elder Lawyer, it's going to be the gathering of Christ Church, bringing you the real Chinese connection. Here we go, buddy. Get ready for the ride, because this is where our God comes in, folks. Our people aren't hurting no one. We just trying to live our lives. We don't know our head from the hole in the ground, need direction. And they're purposely slapping us around, confusing us. We don't know what to do. They're taking our homes. During COVID, they gave us a stimulus check, and now the majority of our people in the inner city are out of work. Who do you think they're going to hire to replace those jobs? The only way we'll be able to get the jobs if we take the Jews. So if there's a vacancy, guess who's going to replace you? That was a way that they can move all of our people out of the workforce and allow who they want into the new corporate reset workforce. Man, it was cold-blooded how they did this, right? It was so strategic, Elder Lawyer. This thing was strategic. They got everybody home, reshaped the whole thing under this health thing, and say, you know what? I'll tell you what, we're going to replace you with them and switch a campaign where it's about Asia, no longer about black people. And on top of that, folks, hey, no longer about black people, it's about Asia. And all the jobs, they're going to be able to they're going to migrate in here. A lot of them are here already, but they're not telling you. And they're going to take those jobs that was already prepared for them, because they know our people are going to push back for the seats. These jobs, they're going to be like, we don't want it. They were like, okay, don't worry about it. We had them here anyway. Come on in. Regentrification on steroids. And it's being head by Magog, who's China, according to the Bible. That's who's Japheth. The white man is Esau. The Asians are Japheth. Elder Lawyer, you got anything else to say before I bring in Elder Gabar?
No, sir.
Okay, let me bring in Elder Gabar. One moment, and then we'll open up the lines. And then after that, what I'm going to do, I'm going to bring in Elder Gabar. Let me frame the context so that we can keep the broadcast within the topic. Please, if you're not talking about the topic, please, baptisms and all that is for other scenarios. Keep it within the parameters of the broadcast, please. We're talking about the Chinese connection here. The question first is, who is perpetuating the hate that the media is claiming against Asians? Because I don't see it. And if there's an Asian out there who's going through something that black people are doing against you, please call in. There have been many protected classes. The gay community, the Jewish community with their anti-Semitism campaign, the white woman who you know, before feminist, she was always that buffer class that can be used to keep our people in order, one way or the other. Either they'll give you someone of it and she'll do a Delilah on your Samson, or they'll bring in one of those witch drinking, blood drinking witches who would come into our area and do what? Cause issues with black merchants, so that now their husbands and all of them would come through to burn our stores down. So that's another protected class. Let me tell you, white women never needed protection. But they're a protected class too. So we got all these protected classes. What? And they are aligned against the people who really need to be protected. Our people. Judah lives matter. You got a woman as a protected class. And then we went into it this weekend, Elder Lawyer, where it was this white woman. What's her name? Who ended up aligning herself with black sisters to join black sisters into the feminist movement. What's her name again, Elder Lawyer?
Gloria Steinem.
You had Gloria Steinem, a Jewish woman, who came into the community and made a black sister with a fist and all that with this propaganda to make us believe that black women problems, white women problems with her man was your problem. And we never had a problem until you all started listening to them about this independent stuff. There's no other race of people on the earth talking about being independent from their own men. But I digress. Asian community. Now you got the Jewish community, gay community, white woman, then black woman. Now the Asians are coming talking about they need political protection under the law. So when you see people protesting, folks, it's to do what? It's to get certain laws passed. So that now if we start responding to what they're doing to us, like what they did in Africa, they can now deem that a hate crime. Like what they did in China during the Wuhan thing over there. They started throwing us out of our apartments, beating us up and throwing us into the streets. If they would have responded to that in America, that would be considered now a hate crime because now Asians are looking to get political protection, claiming that there's some, believe it or not, there's some random ghost thing out there where a campaign that black people looking to go against Asians. That doesn't exist. But they're going to create the narrative anyway to make the laws that would do what? Further destroy our people to a degree where there's no recourse. Any response we do against what they've done to us, they're going to deem that hate. So, what group of people isn't afforded any political protection? And I need y'all to talk about that. And what are we going to do to make sure we put the word out to let people know not to align with any of these campaigns? If I just like on TV, if I see something that's against the Bible on the TV commercials, whatever, you know what I do? I flick the channel. They'll have a real good looking woman come on a commercial, and then they'll have a fat dude in the shower. I'm not looking at no dudes in the shower anyway. They're already messing me up. So I'm like, I flick it. Got the fat white dude with hair all on him. I'm like, nah, you're not distorting, my zone. You go from a pretty woman to that? No, thank you. Because right after that, on the commercial, then they'll have a guy dressed in drag spinning around with a towel. And they putting all this stuff. I turn it off. And now, they got the violins and the piano playing with everything Asian now. And you know what I do? I turn it off. There's too many concerns of what's going on with our people for us to be standing politically for Asians when it comes to what's going on in their community. They have enough political force, finances, military, and everything to have protection. So what are they complaining about? I'm not going for it. I don't want to hear about no protesting unless it's out protecting our people. Thank you, but no thank you. And I'm going to tell you, folks, if you support anything they do out publicly, and they'll try to incentivize this, you are in agreement with their campaign against you. When it goes down, don't be complaining about what they're doing to your sons and daughters. Because it starts out all good. You aligning yourself politically with them through this multicultural garbage. If it's really multicultural, check it out. I need a Rick Ribs in Chinatown. We're the only people with this multicultural joining hands crap. Well, no. I need a Rick Ribs, a guy with a big bush selling beef spare ribs in the midst of Chinatown for multicultural solidarity. So I'm going to tell you, folks, they're going to be pushing this crap. Turn it off. Okay, what is this? Somebody sent me something interesting. Hold on. I think I got something good here. 1 second here. All right. 1 second. See, hey folks, one thing about the Most High, I would tell you, I think the Most High, for years, he been having us in front of this stuff 5, 10 years, sometimes 7, 12 years before these things go down. I'm going to tell you, I thank the Most High that through the Holy Spirit, we're opening up to receive so that we can warn you so that our people can plan accordingly. Because I'm going to tell you, a lot of people were saved through that campaign last year. They're about to open things up again. I'm going to tell you that right now. They've accomplished what they needed to accomplish to put their reset in place. So they're going to loosen up and people are going to act like this never happened. But I'm going to tell you, there's a lot of people who paid attention to these broadcasts for the last year or so who are saved because they didn't follow what the media was saying. Because the media is fickle. They'll be talking about one thing today as if it's the end of the world, like George Floyd, and then it's gone. Right? They'll talk, oh, get that. And next thing you know, when the news start telling you it's okay, it'll be as if it never happened. And whoever was caught up in it, got killed or whatever in it, guess what? It's because, that's right, they were following the priesthood of the news circuits. And I thank the Most High through this broadcast we're able to talk to you because so many people to prophetically to get in front of this, because at the end of the day, folks, it is about saving lives. What I have here, one moment. One moment. One moment. Scan, okay. Okay, someone sent me something. Let me see this here. What is it? One second, folks. Stick with me. Oh. I'm going to put something up that you all need to see. Thank you. Let me see here. Let me put this up. Here's a quote. Here's a quote. And it says right here from a 1981 book by Bilderberger Jacques Attali, is an example of the elite's mindset. This is how they think. Check out how they think, folks. This is how they think. The future will be about finding a way to reduce the population. Of course, we will not be able to execute people or build camps. We get rid of them by making them believe it is for their own good. We will find or cause something, a pandemic, targeting certain people, a real economic crisis or not, a virus affecting the old or the elderly. It doesn't matter. The weak and the fearful will succumb to it. The stupid will believe in it and ask to be treated. We will have taken care of having pinned pan the treatment, a treatment that will be the solution. The selection of idiots will therefore be done by itself. They will go to the slaughterhouse alone. Get the book verbatim. Here it is. You want me to read it again? I'll read it again if you would like. Here from 1981 book by Bilderberger Jacques Attali is an example of the elite's mindset. The future will be about finding a way to reduce the population. Of course, we will not be able to execute people or build camps. We get rid of them by making them believe it is for their own good. We will find or cause something, a pandemic targeting certain people, a real economic crisis or not, a virus affecting the old or the elderly. It doesn't matter. The weak and the fearful will succumb to it. The stupid will believe in it and ask to be treated. We will have taken care of having the treatment, a treatment that will be the solution. The selection of idiots will therefore be done by itself. They will go to the slaughterhouse alone. Hey, folks, think about it. What would be more effective? Camps, FEMA camps, or the campaign they've rolled out, that have now triangulated on our people? That LeBron and all of them was talking about. What Stephen A. Smith is pushing. What Dr. Oz is pushing. What do you think is more effective? Because by the time they're finished, they're going to be able to corral those who have survived to the camps. But there's too many people who bear arms in the United States who would fight if they knew what was really going on, who are no longer here because they follow the news. Let's bring in Elder Gabar now. Elder Gabar, where you at here? My man, pots and pans. Hold on. Let's bring in Elder Gabar. And then we'll open it up for the calls. And please keep on topic, brothers and sisters, please. I really appreciate it. All right, where you at? Elder Lawyer's there. And let me bring in Elder Gabar. Where? Okay, I'm looking for you, Gabar. 1 second. Oh, yeah, we bring the goods up in here. All praises be to the Most High. AHAYAH Bahashim Yeshaya, where we rock. All glory goes to him who give us the insight on how to go into this word and warn our people. And above all, we got the Most High on our side. So never fear. Faith over fear. The people who are fearful, you see what's going on with them. We are hedged by the Almighty. Let's go. Let me bring Elder Gabar in. And I need y'all to hit that like button. Y'all about 1,000 likes down. Y'all got to help me out, man. Get the people up in here. Elder Gabar, you with me?
Can you hear me?
Oh, yeah. I got you. Just turn up your... Go ahead. Say something.
Check 1, 2, 3.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, it's... Okay, do you have a gate on your mic? Or you have the air conditioner on?
Mic check.
Yeah, every time you speak, it's like you have a gate on your microphone. It opens and closes. Just take the gate off of it.
Okay, hold on. Is it still sounding that way?
Okay, no, yeah, you sound good now. Let me bring you in now. Elder Gabar. Okay, Elder Gabar, what you got for me?
Okay, all praise to the Most High. I wanted to come in just to just chime in. giving into some of the conversation you was you was touching on today. But what I want to say, what I have to bring out, and what needs to be addressed, this is no, trying to please my elders, but this past academy, I think, was one of the best academy lessons I've seen. It was one of the best. From start to finish, in regards of the understanding of the family. You was dealing with marriage. It was a fairly new lesson into the academy, and it really gave me a different perspective in regards of why they're attacking the family and why they're particularly attacking men, removing them from their leadership position. And I just want to read one scripture real quick in regards of this. Because
Gabar, I don't mean that, because what you have is really good, and I really want the people to hear it clearly.
It's still acting up?
Yeah, it sounds like there's a little distortion.
Why you don't take some guests? Let me fix the sounds over here, and then I'll come back and I'll text you when I'm ready to go.
Okay, I really want to hear what you have to say, so I'm going to take it. Let me know when you're ready, and I'll bring you in. Okay?
Okay, outstanding.
All right, thank you. All right. So, what I'm going to do now, I'm going to bring in the calls, 712-451-0439. Please make sure you stay within the parameters of the discussion. Okay? On top of that, please make sure you're not all over the place. Make sure you're prepared. If you're looking to talk, make sure you have headphones on and we're not playing in the background. This way it makes for good listening, okay? Do me a favor to make sure it's good for the listeners, because we need this podcast almost to be a listener-friendly type of deal. So do all those things and it should work fine. If you have headphones on, there won't be any feedback, all right? This is why I have headphones on. This is why a lawyer has headphones on, okay? It makes it easier to dialogue. If you're in a room with a lot of activity going on, do the show of respect and go into a private area to make your point. We really want to hear your point, okay? 712-451-0439. Elder Lawyer, I'm going to call y'all right back. All right? And I'm bringing the conference to bring you back, Elder. All right?
Yes, sir.
All right. Shalom. Okay, there go the elders. Let me bring in the conference. Thank you, Ramar. Ramar's on standby. Ramar, when I call in, I think it's a 980 area code. Make sure you pick up, please. I'm coming in now, Ramar. They said years ago that they would aim this campaign, right? They would aim this campaign up against the idiots, whom they deem are idiots in the world, which means it's not just a black thing. They know that this just ain't going to affect black people. Okay. So.
Welcome and thank you for choosing freeconferencecall.com. You're helping people around the world communicate for free. Please enter your access code followed by the pound or hash.
Okay, Elder Gabar, they said it was clear on their side, so I'm going to bring you back in.
Please re-enter your access code followed by the pound or hash sign.
All right. All right. Okay. I'm in the conference line now. Shalom, Ramar. I'm right now. There's a lot of feedback going on your side, so put me back in. I'm going to bring Gabar in real quick. Yeah, I don't know what's going on there. Okay, let me add that. All right. Do me a favor, Ramar. I'm feeding back all over the place. It's horrible. Yeah, that's excellent. Okay, you're good. All right, one moment. One moment. Okay, Elder Gabar, you're back, right? Okay, yeah, we got you, Elder Gabar. Come on.
So, I just want to just line back on, in regards to what you were saying in regards, Red Dawn and attack of the children of Israel. And really, this past lesson in the academy, I truly believe that lesson, you should show
Unmuted.
Show snippets of that just to promote the academy. For those that have not seen it, they should, because this is dealing with exactly the issue what's going on within America today or throughout the whole world, destroying the importance of the patriarchal system, right?
Yeah.
And removing the man from the household demonized the whole conversation about having a man in charge in the household. And it really opened my mind to say, you know what, we have to start training these young men much earlier in with leadership skills, discipline, because really their job is to be born leaders. When you start a family, you're saying, okay, I have enough skills, enough resources, enough what I need to start a legacy now.
Yeah.
And you really change it from the perspective of just, like Hollywood teaches, love, I need to find the right one to make me happy. But really marriage is to start a legacy. And that's what they've been attacking.
Yeah.
And that's is what we need to defend. So I think I commend you for that lesson. It was one of the best lessons I've heard for a long time in the academy.
Well, thank you, sir, Elder Gabar. And you know what? I'm getting so many responses back on it when it comes to, it really makes understanding our roles simple when examining the roles of the Most High, the Holy Spirit, and Christ. When you break down, these are three clearly distinct, clear roles of power working in tandem in an agreement with one another. And the only time we have a scenario amongst our people or amongst our significant other, our wife, our husband, is when we are operating outside of our natural role. If a woman have to be forced to operate in a male role, she's going to exude male energy. And that's really not her fault, because we're supposed to make sure she's not placed in those roles so that she can be feminine, dainty, beautiful, and go out and conquer what we need for legacy. Right? So it's really us fighting our own programming. Men being complainers and over emotional. That's like having two women in the house. That's not our role. The house belongs to a woman. She designed it. She do what she wants to do with it. The man lays the foundation and protect the home. And that home becomes her haven to build legacy. Because it's our women who instill culture, tradition, and values into the next generation of young men and women.
Amen to
right?
that.
Yeah, so that's the whole deal. So what we're battling here is what? A reversal of roles. We be fighting the fact that we grow up dysfunctional, not realizing where the line is. Like I said earlier, in the academy, girls should be more so in etiquette classes. Yeah. When we were growing up, they had plates on their head. They know to walk straight. They know to keep their legs closed. They understood what class was, and they had no problem being married and keeping a husband, because they wasn't on some thug tip and talking like a man was normal. Men weren't complainers, they were doers. So when the defining roles are there, it comes what? Life. That life is legacy. And I wanted to, but I'm going to tell you, when that academy, usually sometimes, Elder Gabar, when we do academy lessons, I'll look back at it and say, you know what? I really aim more towards one piece of understanding. I want people to understand. And then I look back at a lesson and say, you know what? It was real nice, but I could have brought this out and that out too. Right? And I say, I'll just cover that in the next academy. When we broke down whether or not the family will survive in that lesson we did this Sunday, not once did I think about after it was done anything that we could have added.
Right.
Right?
Already fulfilled that topic.
Yeah, it was like, listen, when it was done, I'm sitting there and I'm like, you know what? Thank the Most High. I don't think of anything I could have said more. Praise the Most High. But go ahead. Speak on the topic. Red Dawn against the children of Israel. Go on.
I think we have to start thinking and looking at, and I want to go into the scripture in Galatians chapter 4, verse 1. If you treat yourself as someone who was created to inherit the kingdom, heritage, right? This scripture would make a hell of more sense if you understand that your calling is to inherit the earth, right? It says, I'm in Galatians 4:1. It says, and now I say that the heir, as long as he is a child, differs nothing from a servant, though he be Lord of all, but is under tutors and governors until the time appointed of the Father. What is saying? That the way we have to kind of assess this situation is that we are now, although we are heir of the earth, of the kingdom, under Christ, under the Father, we are now in the process of what? Learning how to run a country, run a government. We're under tutors. And what is your tutor? The commandments of God, the testament of the gospel. These are the things we have to start learning, because we have to start small. Because if you know, okay, you have to run this corporation when you're age of 18 or 21 or what have you, whatever agreement your father put in his oath, in his will, okay, you have to hurry up because you're not going to inherit those millions and billions of dollars. So this is the way we have to start looking at dealing with our men in particular. Okay, we have to start preparing our men to learn how to inherit the kingdom. The first thing you got to do is self-reflection. You have to first be baptized, cleanse your sins, and get in the right spirit, for you could then teach others and govern others. And that's what they're scared of. They're scared for the black and Hispanic men to rise up as the new kings and royal priesthood that they were born to be. And I want to use with this. Mr. comedian Paul Mooney, who passed away over the weekend, he was one of my favorite comedians because he was not only funny but also thought-provoking with his, edgy humor and controversial topics, always dealing with race and things of that nature. 10 years ago, he was in an interview promoting his book. I think it was called Black is the New White. And the reporter asked him a question, or the person who was interviewed asked him a question about Hollywood. And this was his response. And you can probably still catch it in the internet. He said that, well, Hollywood, if God does not destroy Hollywood, this is what he says. If God does not destroy Hollywood, God owes Sodom and Gomorrah an apology.
If he don't destroy Hollywood, he owes Sodom and Gomorrah an apology. I mean, what a, hey. That's funny.
The light of the late great Paul Mooney. This is a question I want to ask to all Christians.
Yeah.
If God does not destroy America, does he owe Sodom and Gomorrah apology? And an apology for not destroying this wicked country? I yield that question.
Man, that was good. Thank you. Hey. Elder Gabar. All right. Well, we're going to keep you there, Elder Gabar. Anytime you want to chime in while the people are asking questions, whatever the case is, just unmute your mic and just come on in. No problem at all. Elder Ramar, I know you on the side. If you have something to say before we actually segue into the people, I'll tell you what, let's do it right now. And if you have something to say, Elder Ramar.
Hey, Shalom, is the audio better?
Oh, the audio is excellent. Thank you.
Oh, okay, great. Absolutely, the water, all praise to the Most High. I've been really paying attention to what's been going on in the internet and social media world the past few days. A lot going on, of course, with Kwame Brown. We have some other independent, platforms that are really blowing up, speaking truth to the black community. I just wanted to read a couple of scriptures here because this has really been resonating with me, with what I'm seeing. And I'm in Genesis 49. I'm going to start at verse 9. It says, Judah is a lion's whelp. From the prey, my son, thou art gone up. He stooped down, he couched as a lion, as an old lion, who shall rouse him up? So what I'm seeing Judah, which we know to be the Negro or black men, really starting to take shape and form as the lions that we were destined to be and rise, and getting roused up. It says here, verse 8, Judah, thou art he whom thy brethren shall praise. Thy hand shall be in the neck of thine enemies. Thy father's children shall bow down before thee. And you're seeing black men for the first time in a long time starting to unite and support one another. And it's been a long time coming, but it's a beautiful thing to see it. At the same time, the Most High is highlighting and showing the lions rousing up. He's also causing a distinct separation between the hyenas or the imposters or those that you were speaking of earlier in the broadcast. They go by different names, sellouts and all of that, but those who are actually the panderers of our community, that are the gatekeepers and, actually not out for the good of our people. And you're seeing a clear distinction. The world may call them alphas and the others betas, but you're seeing a clear distinction between the lions and the hyenas right now. So I just wanted to just, show that in the scripture, the Most High said we will rise up, and it's a beautiful thing to see it happening right before our very eyes. Prophecy just unfolding the way that it is.
All praises be to the Most High. You know what? It's happening. And like I said, shout out to Brother Kwame Brown. And there's a lot of brothers that have been doing some work out there. Hey, you got Dr. Professor Truth, Brother Professor Truth B1. You got of course Dr. Claude Anderson. You got many people out there. Tariq Nasheed out there. You know what I mean? Putting the word out. Just because we don't believe all, but we're bringing a biblical perspective. There's many parts to the body. Okay, and eventually all those conversations that tie it all together will happen. But the Most High is doing it organically, where people are following the scriptures and standing up who don't even know the scriptures and don't even know it's prophecy, how they're interacting and moving. There's a lot of good brothers out there. Tariq Nasheed, he out there with a voice, frontline type of brother. Okay, not that I know a lot of these brothers personally, but of course I've seen some of their work. There's another brother,
Ice Cube.
Ice Cube.
Ice Cube.
What's my other brother name? The one that stood up and was ostracized and had to apologize. What's his name? The one on Nickelodeon.
About Charlemagne?
No.
Oh,
What's his name?
Nick Cannon.
Yeah, Nick Cannon.
Nick Cannon.
You had Nick Cannon. You have Dame Dash. Okay, you have Dame Dash. There's another brother. He don't have a lot of subscribers and all that, but another brother who have values out there. A brother that by the name of Lennon Honor. There's a lot of, you can tell Judah is standing up. Our people are standing up, and guess what? Now it's no longer a time where we're silenced. We understand silence to them means complicity. It means that we are in agreement. We sat back for a long time and was trying to figure out where was this thing going, but now we realize it was all aimed towards stopping Judah from rising. and a lion marks his territory. So I'm glad you came. I'm glad you came with that lion analogy according to prophecy, because guess what? If you're the king, you must assume the role of king. No, you don't see no king saying that, well, I'm going to make a safe space for the hyenas. Then I'm going to make a safe space for this animal or that animal. No, if you're the king, you're the king. There's no safe space until what? The lion is safe. His lionesses are safe. Their cubs are safe. There is no safe space until we're safe first. So all this making safe space and making it politically correct so everyone can coexist, it's really to get people inside to destroy Judah. And we're not going for it anymore. There will be no safe spaces until the lion, his lionesses, and his cubs are safe. So we're not aligning ourselves with the Asian cause or anyone else's cause. Those days are done. Let's go, Elder Ramar. Let's run them down. We got a couple of minutes.
We got the 757 area code. You're live.
Come on.
Shalom.
Shalom. How you want? How you doing?
Yes, how you doing, man? I'm doing fine. This is Charles from the Virginia body in Petersburg. I'm keeping it into the reigns of God and Magog, and I was telling you about a situation I had dealt with yesterday and today concerning my child's schooling. And if you would
okay, hold on.
Read you this.
Hold on. I couldn't mention many men without actually saving this brother for last. Kwame Brown. Shout out, brother. Because he's a clear example of what happens when you kick a man down, and you kick him down when you try to keep a lion down. The reason why they wanted to make Kwame Brown an example is because it was at the same time colleges and the NBA was trying to stop these young men from going straight from high school to make their money to help their families in the NBA. And he became the poster child of that, to say he's a bust, or for an excuse to say this is why the colleges need to use our children to fund their campaigns and their colleges in the years that they can actually be making money in the pros. And guess what? For years, he said nothing. And he strategically waited for the right moment when it was time to pull the curtains down. And you know what? The Bible says, though he's not, this is what Paul said, because people like to hear what you say, but not actually hear, not to talk about what you're saying. Paul stated, though I be rude in speech, but not in knowledge. Why did Paul say that? Because the great deflection is to go into how someone is actually saying it, to avoid the truth that's coming out. See, that's how people deflect. Though I be rude in speech, but not in knowledge, which means, are you going to talk about my tone? Are you going to talk about the fact that, because the brother's articulate, he's highly intelligent. He's cursing all over the place. Everyone has an uncle like that, so I can laugh. You know what I mean? I can laugh and understand it, because be real. We all been to barbecues. We all have uncles grew up talking just like that, but he was sharp. You went to that guy for advice. And I'm going to tell you that this is why Paul made that scripture. He made that quote, though I be rude in speech, but not in knowledge, because he know we living in a world where you'll focus on how someone's saying it instead of what they're saying. Ignore how it's being said and understand that truth is coming out. And everyone he's exposing need to be pointed out so that we'll understand why we've fallen so far as a people. Because they've replaced us with those demons who claim they represent the black voice. And we ain't going for it no more. So shout out, Brother Kwame Brown. We're praying for you, because we know when you speak like this and do all that, guess what? we know what comes with it. These enemies are vile, and they'll try to do all types of things to try to make an example or to harm brothers who expose their evil. But guess what? It's time. It's time for all of that, all of these guys to come down and the real truth tellers come to the forefront. Brother Kwame Brown, thank you. Continue doing what you're doing. But go ahead. I'm listening to you.
Yes, how you doing? This is Charles from out the Virginia body.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I've been, that's all right. I've been inside your academy. This is my second one.
Praise the Most High.
These protected groups. Thank you. These protected groups, right? I had a run-in with them yesterday and today. All right. I want to read from my child is a ninth grader. My oldest child is a ninth grader. I have a wife, and we all live in one home. My 4 children and my wife live in all in one home. Okay, that is the image of God. My son been inside virtual learning for all school years since the so-called the Jim Jones juice been out and about, right? This is a graded question from my child's laptop that my son showed me, and then he's taken up, and somehow they put in Greek mythology in with their schooling. So when he came across, I understand that we are under Greek and Roman Empire and everything like that. So certain boundaries I try to keep. But this crossed it right here. I read here. It says, "What would you do if someone told you at a young age as a prophecy that you would kill one parent and marry the other? What would you live? How would you live your life? What would be different? Read at least one other person's reply and leave a comment." Okay, this is a graded question. Off top. I talked to my child. I seen what's going on. I seen it was from a Greek mythology prophecy. And my thing is that if this Babylonian is all linked up to Buddha, Hindu, Catholics, Islam, Greek mythology, and is linked all together, to prophesy against them is what I can say I have did yesterday and today. I went down to the principal's office and told him about this situation. I told him that, this goes against my child not even in school. So you even insinuate homosexuality because you could choose which parent to kill and marry. And then it's incest. And then on top of that, giving a resolution of murder if something is presenting the opportunity to. Okay, I went to the school board, and again, I went to the principal's office.
Yeah, that was inappropriate, brother. Hold on.
He immediately,
brother. First of all,
okay,
the way you have to frame it is, what you just sent my child is inappropriate. It's straight out inappropriate. Yeah. I send my child to school to learn reading and writing, not about the thoughts of killing his parents to marry one. What is this? But go on. I'm sorry.
Exactly. I didn't even go into my beliefs. I just kept it strictly because I know there is a separation of church and state.
Yeah.
Now I know this. Now you're talking about prophecy. Now I'm juggling like, where are you coming from in this particular area? So speaking to my child in this way. So what I did, he automatically went to the teacher. So I was like, "Sir, I know this is a curriculum inside for Greek mythology in high school. So I wouldn't want to get on a teacher, even if he was vulgar. That is from your prophecy in whatever you're teaching to these students. So my thing isn't for, yes, the teacher needs to be advised, hey, that's kind of out of line, but also too, the head of it is the state. So what I did was I went down, he understood my position, I understood his. As I was leaving out, I see he got a whole Alpha Kappa, Sigma Phi Beta all around his office. So I'm like, I'm preaching to the choir. I'm looking at a guy that believes in this stuff. So I don't pay no mind. I go ahead and go directly to the school board. So I talked to this one lady that's the head of the leaders, the leader group, and she brought in a Gentile that was of the curriculum. I asked to speak directly to who's above them. They say he's not available or whatnot. I continue to speak with them. They wrote, and I talked to them. I told them my children right now, children are given a choice for transgender. They're given a choice to even go ahead and take the Jim Jones juice. They're giving all these things away from my hedge of protection of what traditional family values are. And I expressed that to them. These ladies was pushing against the state and push it against the teacher. I'm like, lady, I'm here in this establishment that's separate from that high school, and seeing what you are able to do in your ability, in your grasp, whatever you can do. She told me nothing, that she can link me to other people, and I need to become an advocate of this. But the thing is, I knew that, I'm getting nowhere with them. I'm not going to change the whole laws of the Greek mythology, because this is their nation at this moment. But the thing is, I came here, and I even called the local news station. They went to the teacher, too. Oh, what's the teacher? Oh, yeah, we've been learning about Greek mythology all high school year. There was nothing to them to say that. But it was quick to go to the teacher. So I'm like, you know what? I don't want to give no press to the teacher. I want that teacher to lose his job, because that's not the head of it. I was like, you know what? I'm going to call up here and to the GOCC today and let all my people know of what's really going on out there. I wanted to ask too: is there possible that we breach away in this next school year to come? Are we able to gather together and have some kind of if we're going to homeschool our children, getting away from because of Jim Jones juice? Are we able to find some kind of system that we could help have tutors? Help our children while we still try to keep up.
Well, I don't want to digress into other things. I said I wanted to keep it within the parameters of the program. I'm trying to make it clear. But thank you. I'm glad you put that out there. But yeah, we have to get in front of it, brother. I appreciate you. And there will be curriculums coming, so we'll be talking about that for the children. It's coming. All right?
Okay. I appreciate it. Shalom, and peace to all Israelites out there. And just keep pushing forward. We will soon see the kingdom.
Thank you, brother, and thanks for all your support and putting that word out there. And it's good to know we have strong black men out there who are no longer silenced through this crap. They tried to clear the way so that they can totally destroy the minds of our children with all of these campaigns, the letter people and all this other stuff. Now we're seeing at the end of this their true intentions. And I'm glad there's black men standing up and saying, well, listen, hell to the no. And I thank the Most High for that. Another thing is, this is what y'all need to look for, because they're going to do it soft, and they're going softly now, but they're going to really throw it on strong and thick by the time school time comes. Okay? The next orchestrated campaign will be to make sure that that juice they're trying to put out there, the stuff, the campaign, will be mandatory with the rest of the schedules the children have in school. Watch out for that. They're going to try to softly throw it in, but then let people free and all that to go out and have fun this summer so that they can now accept the next level of the campaign. And they're going to be like, well, now people are starting to come together. It's looking good, but soon as August come around, they're going to claim that there was a spike in something. And through that spike, schools now has agreed to now add that as one of the mandatory schedules that must be added with the rest of your children's, medicines. Let me put it that way. In order to go to school. So be prepared for it all. It's coming. And, hey, let's go to the next call. Next call.
478, you're live.
Yeah.
Shalom.
Shalom, sister. Name and location? Barbara? Okay. Go on.
Barbara from Georgia.
How are you?
I'm not in your body, but I've been studying and listening to you guys since the pandemic started.
Okay.
I am a 65-year-old retired nurse. I know it's a joke. If I had not retired 2 months before this thing started, I would have been fired because I would refuse to do any of that stuff. What I wanted to say was, you're right on it. You elders, keep doing what you're doing, because I was just the other day reading my Bible, and it came to me about that Asian hate thing. They're trying to get ahead of us, but you guys are on it.
Praise the Most High.
Stay ahead of them. Stay outside the box. They trying to box us in, but stay outside the box so you can see where they're coming from. Elder, you are on it. You are on it, all of you. And me and my husband, I'll tell you, I'm glad I retired but I've been in a church for 30 years, and nobody told me why we didn't celebrate the Sabbath. Nobody ever told me why we didn't observe all of those holidays. Nobody told me any of that. And I'm 65. I've been in church all my life. Nobody preached revelation. So I feel guilted by the Christianity. So now I'm with GOCC. As soon as I get my money together, or you get me on one of your lists for those donations, I'm going to be in the academy. Because I know my word. I read that Bible that you read, and I'm with you when you read it with my book open. And the Bible says, study to show thyself approved. We can't say you're not doing anything if we're not reading it with you. But you guys are on it. Stay on it.
Well, thank you, sister. What we'll do is put your name and number down. And since there's some sponsorships going on with people offering to sponsor, we'll see what we can do about getting you into the next one, you and your husband. You don't got to worry about trying to get some money together or whatever. If, you paid your
I would
dues.
appreciate that.
Well, sister, don't worry about it. Put her name and number down, Elder Ramar, so that, so she can get this, so she can get these classes. All right.
I sure do appreciate it. I
Bless
got
you.
baptized by my last church, but I would love to go in that river.
Hey, well, we got some beautiful people there in Georgia, so yeah, we'll make sure that happens. Let's hit that water, and you'll get that newfound spirit that leads us all into Christ's kingdom, sister. Thank you, and bless you and your husband.
Bless you all.
Thank you. Bless you.
Shalom.
Shalom. Ain't that something? Man, you hear this? Do you hear? Man, I'm so happy. She said, well, listen, no one even told me why we weren't dealing with the Sabbath. I'm going to tell you, there's always been some good people up in those churches. It's the leadership that went left a long time ago, learning under the theologian seminary demons that they call a college. What college the disciples went to? You can't be led through the Spirit going to a theological seminary college. It's taught by the devil. They purposely go to those seminary colleges to bring false doctrine and Greek philosophy and evil deceptive doctrines in our community. So, but you can't tell me there aren't good people in the churches. I'm listening to one. What's the next call? Praise the Most High. Bless your family. Next call.
612 area code. You're live.
612, you're live.
Shalom, Elder.
Bless you.
Shalom, Elder. This is Bonnie calling from Minnesota.
Hi.
Now, I've lived in Chicago. I grew up in Chicago. The Asians, Chinese in Chicago, they are jumping on the black women there, locking them in stores, and this is the nail shops there. And if you do something, if they do something to your nails and you're like, hey, this don't look right, and they say, well, you paid me my money anyway. And why should I pay you my money for something that you're not doing right and it don't look right? And then what gives you the right to think that you can go into our communities and jump on our people? Now, there's a guy that's an activist. His name is Martin G. Johnson in Illinois. He got together with some of the brothers there, and they've been shutting the nail shops down there.
Okay. Well, really, I'm not going to. I'm not a proponent for backing something that's not biblical. But sister, there would be no need for that brother to stand up. And listen, there would be. Here's a solution. You can avoid going in. Sisters can avoid actually going into the shops before getting locked in because their nails weren't done correctly. See?
Well, what the thing that they can do is more women can go and get licensed themselves, and we can have things for our people can have more of their own businesses in our black communities.
Sister, do you know one of the cheapest businesses to actually run? are salon shops and nail shops. You know why? The only thing you need is an open floor, mirrors, and a few desks and chairs. Everything else can be brought. Nail polish, files, all those stuff, and make sure the drawers are there. The drawers are there with all your stuff neat. It's low maintenance to have businesses like that. But what I'm saying,
this is one of the things that George said that.
But it comes down to this though. It comes down to this. They're gonna do what they're gonna do.
Yeah.
Right? The Bible tells us a nation divided against itself cannot stand. You know when the Asians will stop all that? You know when there'll no longer be stores in our communities that they can do that to? When sisters no longer go to their businesses.
When we stop them. Exactly. And then this is another thing though that I have faced, because I have been a licensed cosmetologist, and they shut us out from being able to buy anything because a lot of them own that stuff that we have to order from.
Sister.
And if they by any chance think that you're black, they won't let you buy it.
Sister, listen to me clearly.
I'm listening.
Listen to me.
I'm listening.
That's more so a need that has nothing to do with Asians. There's a need for sisters to more so depend on the power that comes with being a man and taking advantage of that extra power that y'all don't know exists. Then the reason why is because women are more agreeable. That means when someone say no, women tend to say, well, okay. Men aren't that way. I'm talking about a man isn't that way. There's no such thing as no.
Yeah.
Because listen. We got the network. It's our community. They can't tell me no about nothing. Okay? Because we got the people. So when you go to them and they're not going to they're not giving me this. Who are they? Nah, that's the difference, because when we were together, men was able to make those moves so women wouldn't be turned around and believing that there were obstacles that really doesn't exist. There is no obstacles. Because because I know men with businesses, with hair shops and all that, for haircuts and all that. And guess what? They get everything they need no matter who have the product. I've seen people go to Taiwan and get products themselves and bring it back. These are men. But what it is I'm going to tell you this. It still comes down to saying no first and suffering through it, so that now you can go back to the table with what? With spending power. Because no means you gets nothing. If I don't come into your shops, you get nothing. So the next time I sit down with those merchants who are saying no or whatever, they'll be more willing to compromise and give me what I want, understanding that something is better than nothing. So, but sister, that's a whole nother broadcast in of itself. We're going to talk about that, because the same way we have to talk about, we've talked about tonight, like the Stephen A's and others who have always been gatekeepers, attacking powerful people in our communities without much pushback. We got to also talk about the enablers. People in our community who weren't like our forefathers, who are willing to say, you know what, we're not going to work. We're going to march. Even if our rent is back, whatever the case is, we're going to march until they do what we tell them to do. Okay? We were willing to do what? Not cross the line for the sake of our future and the future of our family. But now it's, what about my job? What about my rent? What about this? Everyone is individuals, and no other race operates like this. So we're going to have that conversation. This is where all of this is leading, because there would be no Stephen A. Smiths and others if it wasn't enablers in our communities who know that these shops and these people in the shops don't care about you and will lock you in, but go in there anyway. What does that say about you as a person when you allow other races to come into your community and humiliate you? What does that say? So sisters got the power. Yeah. The sisters got the power in the community right now, right? Now you must utilize the power
Yeah,
of
but we
listen,
need more men.
listen. Now you must now you must utilize the power of no. You don't have the power if you go to another race of people and they tell you, well, you can't make money on your own without me. You have less power than you think. See? So if you do got the power, what power is in your control? What's in your pocketbook? That's your power. Where your heart is, where your treasures are, your heart shall be also. Where your heart is, your treasure shall be. So when you pay money to people who disrespect you, you know what you're telling them? You want them to disrespect you. That's what you're telling them.
God.
Thank you, sister.
We need more men to stand up for us.
Sister, listen. There got to be space for men to stand. We can't be strong and independent and say we need protection too. It's a trade-off. Okay? All right, sister. We're going to talk to you soon, and we're going to talk about this. You got the power. Anytime you spending money with people disrespecting you, you're buying it. You're telling them that's what you want. That's how other nations are actually reasoning and thinking when it comes to transactions. All these people, they like when I get sassy with them. You see how they are anyway. They love being disrespectful. They love being disrespected. I see what they do. So to a lot of these,
that's why I stopped going to them, and I went to school to learn myself.
Yeah. Well, thank you, sister. We're gonna thank you. We're gonna put you off. Let's get to the next call. I'm just putting it out there. I'm just saying, sisters. Because we laugh and joke and not be serious when we deal with these other people, giving them all our money. And guess what? When they start disrespecting you, you turn around and patronize them anyway. I don't deal like that. Money is a transaction. If I see the wrong thing on TV concerning a company, I will no longer support their company. And they don't even have to know that I'm not supporting them. That's a moral stance I'm taking personally. I don't have to tell them I'm doing it. Okay. When I see there's a campaign going after our people, just like I seen when they was talking about this Shake Shack thing, and if you get the Jim Jones juice, you get a free burger and whatever the case, whatever it was. I'm like, you know what? I'm glad, because I was about to get one of those burgers today. And I'm like, you know what? I will not patronize that anymore, because they are aligned against our people. And sisters, we have to start. You're telling the men that how you're being treated is what you want. If you're going there, if you're telling us that's what you want, if you're patronizing that, because Christ said, where your treasures are, your heart shall be also. So if they disrespect you and you go back in there, that's what you're paying for. What's next, Elder Ramar?
813 area code, you're live.
Shalom, Elder. Always a
pretty good broadcast tonight.
You and the body.
And again, a good discussion. I want to say it's a good discussion tonight. I'm glad we're having it. But go ahead, sister.
Yes, sir. I just wanted to inform the body as well as the leaders of the church that the experience my family's experience this Sabbath. You know, shout out to the Orlando body. Shout out to our elders. This event took place once we left our service on the Sabbath in the Orlando body. So our family, we went to grab a bite to eat after the service. Okay. And we decided to go to a wing house. My husband and I and my son, we went in and ordered, but I myself did not want to remain until the order was prepared and ready. So I went and sat back in the car. And my husband and my son, they sat next to another Hebrew and his son, and they were waiting for their order as well. So I was sitting in the car and watching the four of them, and lo and behold, an Asian woman walked in on the phone, not putting down the Asians by no means. I'm just talking from our experience.
Okay.
So she walked in on the phone with as if she had on scrubs. And she proceeded to speak loud so her voice would project throughout the restaurant to the person on the other end.
Okay.
What do you want me to order? I don't know why you have me in this place. But in the meantime, she was looking at my husband and the other father and son.
You got to get to it, sister. You got to get to it. There's a lot of calls. You got to get to it. Talk to us.
Yes, sir. I'm painting a picture so
Okay.
the body could identify. Okay, it's going to be worth it. So what happened? The other Hebrew gentleman got up because they called him to check on the meal, and in the meantime, the Asian woman took his seat. Although there were multiple tables in the restaurant for her to take another seat, so the brother came back to proclaim his seat back. And he asked her if she mind if he sat next to her. She jumped up, started using profanity, saying they don't know who I am. Why am I in this place? They just don't know who they're dealing with. And now the law that has been passed has emboldened this community. So my thing is, as my husband and the gentleman took the opportunity to coach the boys, you know, what you do is just remain silent. Just keep silent until it's time to talk. Don't allow that community to provoke you, because that's what she was doing. And so what we call it now, we call it the AK, which is the Asian Karen, has been birthed.
The AK connection. I got you, sister. Bless
yes,
you.
Sir.
Yeah. Hey, it's the same Asian. They using the same model they use to actually come against our communities. And back then, it used to be a white woman. They would bring in to calculate. She would calculate, come into our areas, cause certain issues, and when we respond back, now the mob comes. So it's the same. It's the same model they're using now with Asians. So you know what I would have done? If she'd have taken that seat there, I'd have let her sit there. I don't give these people any attention. I don't deal with it. Right? And anytime I deal with a situation, I don't, no matter what race you are, I look at you straight in your face like a man should, eye to eye, and they know immediately, okay, this is not the one, this is not the one for this interaction. Okay? All right, what's next? So if I'd have seen her sat there, I'm like, listen, there's many seats here, I'll sit somewhere else. It's utterly ridiculous, you right? But they're looking to set a provocation, and I'm glad the sister brought it out, and I'm glad I waited for that. You understand? But this is what goes on. You're going to see more and more, and believe it or not, it's going to be the media sending people into certain places. Okay? To cause that, because really there's no organic scenario where blacks are hating Asians for no reason. And it doesn't matter your race. If you disrespect someone, there's a low level, if not a higher probability, chance for what? For an altercation. It doesn't matter what your race is. So brothers and sisters, when you see cats trying to pop off, make sure you have a phone there to show everything that's going on and saying, okay, here it is. They done moved Karen, to Kim Yee. What's the next one? Let's do it.
910, you're live.
Shalom, elders. Can you hear me clearly?
Bless you, sister. I can hear you clearly. We can take calls for another, 12 minutes. We're in at 10:30. Let's go.
The water. Thank you. My name is Debbie, and I'm with the North Carolina body.
Hi.
And I'll make this brief. Hi. First of all, I was a state nurse here in North Carolina, and I worked with the school district. I quit. And I'm going to tell you why I quit. First of all, I refused to take the Jim Jones juice, and I refused to give it in the vaccine clinic. So they punished me by putting me in the recovery area of their slaughterhouse, and it eerily reminded me of Soylent Green, but that's a oxymoron, a recovery in a slaughterhouse. But in that, there was a couple days where there was mostly every other person was Asian coming in. And they came into the recovery area, and me and other nurses, there were a few other nurses that refused to take the juice and refused to give it also, and that was our punishment, was to be stuck in the recovery area. And they were very nice. They were like, thank you so much. You guys are heroes, blah, blah, blah. Now, I've been a nurse for 21 years. They had never talked to me that much in my life, you know, and to see them smiling and yay and yay. So it reminded me of what my mother said. My mother, we're from a Caribbean country, and in that country, there's a lot of Chinese businesses. And my mom one day she was like 69 at the time, 68, and finally she asked, why are y'all so mean to us? And they said, you know what, we are slaves here. These businesses we don't own. They send us here to make money for them back in China. And that made so much sense to me, because what you said about things being set up to take over positions, people have to realize that some of these people that are here, it's not organic. They are sent here to take care of other people's businesses. The people in China are men running the businesses from abroad. And they have women in the stores, and they have different people in the stores, but they have to take the vaccine and the Jim Jones juice, and they have to be in position to do what is told to them from China. So, yes, they're happy. They're looking, we're going to take your position and just do, you know. So they're very happy with us. But I just wanted people to know that there are such thing as people that are in these restaurants and nail shops and things like that. Don't think that they own it.
Okay, that's good points. Thank you, sister.
There's
I appreciate
other
it.
people running it. You're so welcome.
Thank you. And let's place on hold real quick before we get to the next call. Thank you. Very, very good points you're making out there. And what y'all got to realize too, folks, you have to realize you don't know what these people are being told going into our neighborhoods totally blind to what our communities are. You can expect these people to be paranoid, scared, and what they only know about us through TV. So I'm not going to absolve them from some of what they're doing, but a lot of these people come over from other countries. They are prepped on how to deal with us, how to actually operate with us strictly from the commerce standpoint as consumers, and what to avoid, and also not to interact because they deem us below normal when it comes to how one should view a human. They're prepped like that before they come to the United States. And it doesn't matter how low on the societal level they were in their own homes. I mean, in their own areas, their own countries. They can be poor, totally have nothing in the other countries. And they'll come over here and get prepped and aligned against us as a buffer class, as if they're better. And see, I thank the Most High for the gift of being able to travel throughout the world. It brought a very, very clear perspective to all of this. Okay? People, when they get their green cards or they get their immigrant papers and all that, it's like an unspoken conversation they're having on how they're going to use and abuse our people in the communities, in our areas. Okay, and it's a time that we began to understand it, not to fight against it, to do what? To control what we can control, and that's where we spend our finances in the communities. Okay, what's next? Next call.
909. You're live.
909.
All right.
Next.
416. You're live.
How you doing?
I'm blessed. Name and
Can you hear me?
location. Yes, sir.
Toronto. Name is Mike. I got a quick question about the NAFTA. Outsourcing of industries for the last 30 years. And how does it really apply to bringing in new immigrants to run certain operations?
What you ask again?
Hello? Outsourcing of industries and what was the purpose of it?
I can't hear you clearly. I don't know if it's me.
I apologize. Maybe it's a bad reception around here, but I'm just asking about what do you call it, outsourcing, and what was the real purpose behind it, and what does it lead to today?
What is the real purpose behind what? Immigrants coming through in the country?
Not just that. What do you call it? Outsources of industries.
Hey, brother,
Are
you're
you
not
saying outsourcing. Is he saying outsourcing of industry?
That's correct.
Okay, so he's saying outsourcing of industry. The whole point is to actually destroy the working class of its community and transfer the wealth to other nations and people. That's what it's for. If you outsource, now listen to me. It's usually for a lower wage, right? You actually outsource. Yes. You outsource to get a product or get more work for a lesser wage. But what we tend to lose is the fact that the person who used to make it over here no longer has a wage. So in the long run, who loses? So in the long run, who loses? You get a product cheaper, but eventually your children won't have jobs. The people you sent your money to, who's working for almost nothing now, can now build the corporation. Build their children and send them to school to actually now buy the houses that in your community that you can't afford no more, because you were able to buy cheaper labor and send it to them. Right? So that's how it happens. Yeah. So on the surface right now, it seems financially advantageous to actually outsource and buy things overseas. It's all good. But the trade-off is that job could have went to your brother or your mother or your sister or your brother. It may cost more, but at least there's food on your table. So that was the danger when Bill Clinton signed the NAFTA agreement, that now agreed to take all the jobs in the United States, and now they can do it what? They can actually negotiate with an enemy country almost. Not even China wasn't all in good graces with America when they made that agreement. But guess what happened? Ford. Look at Detroit now. Detroit is a haven of total destruction and death. Now, why? It used to be the Motor City. That's where you went to make cars. It was our families building those cars. Now you got Toyota, all that in China now. And now the children who mother and father made good salaries, retirement and all that, 401k savings. These are the children killing each other in Detroit right now. They're the babies of their mother and father and grandfathers who used to work in the motor industry, who had real good high scale jobs. But now we're seeing the residual effects of these programs that are with the agreements under NAFTA to ship all of the industry jobs and all of the jobs that were our work class jobs. It was really with us and white people and others too in America, and shipping all of our stuff to China. And it makes it where you gotta you have to use China now, or you're not financially competitive. You have to pay more. So
yeah, that's true. Yeah, so especially with all the unions and stuff like that.
Exactly.
So here's what I'm saying right now.
Hold up. And don't forget, it was us black people who were saying that Bill Clinton was really the first black president. We was all behind Bill Clinton. And the whole time, look at the Clinton Chronicles. The crack pandemic, all that happened under the Clinton administration, how Allegedly, a lot of that was politically driven under his administration. And then on top of that, he signed the agreement to have all the jobs our grandmother and grandfathers had to ship it to India and China. And guess who's here replacing you now? Indians and Chinese people. Let's go.
All right. Was this one more part of my question?
Yeah.
Hello?
I'm here.
Okay. So now with this whole sorry, can you hear me?
I can hear you, but your phone is... I'm bearing through it, but go on. The last
All right,
point, because we have other people, but go on.
All right. So based on this whole COVID event, how do you think these industries are going to perform in the future?
And what in particular are you speaking about?
Lockdown.
Huh?
It's a partial lockdown on a global scale. So how is this going to be beneficial to anybody now?
In what area? That's broad. You're speaking in generalities. Like in what in specific are you talking about?
So I'm saying like with all the industries outside the country, and now that these countries that got the industries, but now dealing with a pandemic or a lockdown, is this like a trial to see who's going to be the benefit or what? The beneficiary, I mean.
The beneficiary is going to be ultimately the corporations. The corporations didn't lose money. They made money during this time. Okay? So the corporate structure is going to benefit from this, all in all. It's a global scenario where now they're able to depopulate due to what? Purposeful planned scarcity. So it's going to be the have and have nots. We're in the transitions of that. We haven't even seen the long-term effects that this one campaign has done to the world. Meaning when it comes to the number of deaths that will come from it, not just the pandemic itself. There's many people, like I mentioned, who jobs recalibrated, who'll never have another opportunity to get a job at that pay scale that they once were.
Right.
There was many people who received stimulus checks and didn't receive income tax checks, not realizing that it was tied together. That money didn't come from, it wasn't printed out of air to send you because of COVID. It was really, believe it or not, a loan. But it was a loan to make it where guess what? You wouldn't push back at a time where they were pushing you out. That's all it was. So the residual effects, we're going to see the residual effects of this for at least 5, 7, and 10 years. The deaths after this is going to outnumber the deaths they said happened during it. Because with no jobs, crime and all that's going to go up crazy. And guess what? A lot of these industries and all that have come over to the United States with their people. And you're going to see all the lower jobs replaced by who? It's going to be strictly Asians, East Indians, and Latinos, who they call Latinos. That's going to be the working class. All the places you used to see black people, you'll no longer see them. Because the plan they have for us, especially, I have to segue off. We have to go to the next call. Because, thank you, brother. Because I can't, we have other people waiting. When you go into restaurants and all that, at the service capacity, the places you used to see us, you will no longer see us. They're already phasing us out as we speak with no pushback. Go into your restaurants and look in the back of the kitchen. I remember working at Houlihan's, one of my first jobs. The sous chef, the top chef was black. The whole line was black. The grill was black. The pantry was black. The assistant manager was black. The bus boys were black. Usually at that time in the early 90s, you would have more so women and white people at the front of the house. And we were all working in the service capacity, making pretty good money. Go into a restaurant now and look. But it really come down to now realizing it's not going to get better. It's time for us to now rally. We must circle the wagon and say, those who can see, we have to make it on our own together. That's what it's going to come down to. And that's where the Most High wanted us all along. Here it goes. This is the battle the children of Israel been waiting for. A time in which you can no longer have an excuse to sit on your butt and do nothing and think something is going to change. This was the time our God was waiting for. It was prophesied that we would begin to wake up and realize, hold up, they're downsizing us. This is the moment, folks. It's going to be us and our God. Man, epic. And I'm so glad to be on this side with the knowledge of the Most High at this time. Next call, Elder Ramar.
908, you're live. 908. Okay.
Let's go to the next call.
Go to
next call.
725, you're live.
Yes. Shalom, Elder Cars. Brother Sean from Las Vegas, buddy.
Hey, how are you?
This evening?
Bless you. You're the last call tonight. Talk to us.
All right. I just want to point out some of the hypocrisy that's going on regarding this Asian hate campaign. That was an article from the Epic Times in 2006, and it talked about whistleblowers who lived in China, doctors who came forward to blow the whistle regarding forced organ harvesting that they're doing to their own people in China.
Allegedly. I don't know about
without anesthesia.
Okay, listen, allegedly. What type of information do you have to confirm this is happening?
Actually names names here of the doctors who come forward. One of the doctors, Zhao King, worked as the director of the Shanghai Wanping Hospital in the Jiu district.
Okay.
Confirmed that she was one of the doctors who performed these torturing type of organ harvesting things that they're doing to people, and primarily to the adherents of the Falun Gong. They were dissidents who didn't agree with some of China's policy. Millions of them were arrested, thrown into labor camps, prisons, psychiatric wards, and other detention facilities where they commenced the organ harvesting.
Well, I'll tell you what.
Have 3 to 5 people.
I need you to send me that, because that's quite interesting that you're mentioning that. Because what better people to be put in charge of this campaign here in America if they're used to doing this in their own, in their own country. So really, that's a window into what we are to expect here. If what you're saying is correct, I don't know. It's alleged. I don't know. I'll see. And I need you to just send it so that we can confirm that. But guess what? I wouldn't be surprised if it did happen. But I don't know. But send me the story, because it's interesting. Because what's not being said in all this, brother? Because there was a big pushback before COVID came on the scene with organ harvesting and what's going on in these hospitals and all that. And all of a sudden under COVID, that whole story just disappeared. Where there was brothers and sisters going into the hospital being diagnosed with all types of crazy stuff. Homeless people found in Philadelphia, they found with no organs in them. Where we had someone called where there was a family who called into one of our broadcasts where the sister got in an accident and she was okay. But by the time they seen her, she was cracked open and her organs were gone. All of this stuff was going on before the pandemic. Now, all of a sudden, that there's no stories concerning organ harvesting that is connected to human trafficking. So every time you hear human trafficking, folks, understand what they're saying with human trafficking. Humans also have organs. So there's a big cover-up going on since this new smoke screen came, to the degree that you seldom hear people, they're talking about whether or not how many people of us want to get this campaign. And we talking about that. And no longer talking about what was going on concerning organs and all that years ago. But brother, I think you're tying it together. Thank you.
Yes, sir. There's the organization, the World Organization to Investigate the Persecution of the Falun Gong. Actually have the testimony from someone who was involved in it along with their relatives. So I'll be happy to send that to you. The organ harvesting goes a lot further than we think.
Yeah.
That's also being used to take wombs from our sisters and implant them into men so they can have babies. It goes pretty deep, brother. Can I still use the A gathering? Exactly.
Yeah. Send that.
Can I still use the A gathering?
Yeah. A gathering 14. As a matter of fact, go to gathering as one. Send it to gathering as one, the number 1, at AOL.com.
Okay.
I really appreciate it.
I will attach you some PDF files.
I need that. I'm going to go into that. The Chinese connection. We're going to make that one of the lessons we do very soon, called the Chinese connection.
Okay.
All right. So I definitely need that because they're in bed. They're in bed with the rest. And the Most High says, I shall put hook in their jaws and bring them into this war so that everyone can see that they were there, a serious component hurting our people. I'm speaking of the people of the dragon. They were always in cahoots with Esau against us. And it's time we reveal it for the sake of self-preservation. Because guess what? Sisters say, well, she had to quit her job. Guess what? They calculated all that. And you'll never guess who they're going to replace all these doctors and nurses with. Here it comes.
Yes, I understand.
Thank you, brother.
Dr. Clyde Anderson talked about that, about how they were going to replace us around this time, and he's right on the money. I'm also going to send you some PDFs regarding what they're doing with the bodies after they succumb to the Triple J virus. They're liquefying the bodies and putting it in the making it in the sludge and spreading it on crops and food.
Well, brother, listen, let's not put it all out right now because right now it's alleged. Send me the PDFs and then we'll talk about that because a lot of these are separate discussions in of itself, okay?
Okay, you got it.
All right, thank you. I'll make sure I hear that. Well, thank you, elders. Elder
muted.
Elder Gabar, you and Elder Lawyer, if you have anything to say, you have the last word. If not, we'll see you all this coming Sabbath. Anything, Elder Gabar?
I think you covered most of the topic today. Great show. So I leave the Christians with this question: if God does not destroy America, does He owe Sodom and Gomorrah an apology? There's a question to the Christians. Are you with that? Right.
Yeah. Hey, man, the fight is on. Elder Lawyer, anything? The fight is on.
No, sir, I'm good.
Hey, man, the fight is on. Oh, it's on. Everybody was kung fu fighting. Y'all remember that? I'm going to tell you right now, the fight is on. Red Dawn against the children of Israel. Will our people idly stand by and allow them to red dawn us in our communities? Was this the plan the whole time? Stay tuned. You'll know more prophetically as the Gathering of Christ Church continue this ministry throughout the four corners of the earth and teach the truth. Thank you, Elder Ramar. Thank you, elders. Thank you for those who weren't able to call in. I'm going to do an impromptu call-in show during early next week where I'll call in. I'll just have a call-in show. We just call in and we'll just talk. Any questions, or comments? I'm going to do a show like that early next week separate from my regular broadcast because I know you have a lot of questions and we have a lot to talk about. With that, stay prayed up, sin not, and that's right. We will soon see Israel. Hold on. Let's do it. Yes. Watch out. The East is where we're from.
12 tribes of Israel. In 721 BC, the Assyrian king, he took us down.
They can't stop Israel, the people of the dragon, Magog. We see you.
We went through the Euphrates. The Lord held the water still.
We gotta watch out and find out what's in that beef yacht. Come on.
To a land where no man can
Is it beef yacht?
We went.
Come on.
The 12 tribes of Israel. That's who we be. Manasseh, the Cubans, Ephraim, from Puerto Rico, and Valley from the odds of Hawaii. The Lord is calling back Israel. From Panama, the North American Indians, Simeon, the Dominicans, AHAYAH's gathering Israel. The Arabs and Africans told us. Together our wives and children sold us. In the belly of these great ships we traveled here. By the rivers of Babylon we found our brothers here. AHAYAH in Colombia, Reuben from Australia, Issachar, the Mexicans. AHAYAH's gathering Israel. The Negroes, Benjamin the West Indians, Levi, the Haitians. AHAYAH's gathering Israel.
The Most High's gathering Israel. You better watch out. You better watch out. You don't know what's, hey, you don't know what's in that rice up in there. Asher in Colombia, Reuben from Australia, worshiping the dragon. That's who they be. Chinese. Oh yeah. We see y'all pagans. Shaolin style. Come on. Ephraim, Puerto Rico, we see you. The Lord is calling back Israel. Better watch that beef yacht. Come on. AHAYAH's gathering Israel. Bye. Get out and buy. Buy or get out. Shalom. Know the truth, spread the truth. We are against what? Red Dawn. And Red Dawn has invaded our communities for a long time. But the lion has awakened. Shalom.